As a Lucifer in DxD. Chapter 1, Prologue. Third-person POV. Today is another day in Manhattan. The weather is nice and the city is full of noise. We can see people going on about their work. There is a Starbucks at one of the side of the road which is bustling with people. There is a 17-year-old high school student who is arguing with the Starbucks employees. MC POV. Today was boring like any other normal day. Woke up after sleeping for 2 hours because I was busy reading fanfics on the internet. Stubbed my toe on the leg of the table and the teacher decided to take a pop quiz which was frankly too easy. I was on my way back home after school and decided to take a coffee at Starbucks. Told them that my name is Simon Pierce and as the rumor goes the Starbucks employee wrote the wrong name. Well, it's no big deal, but this time they wrote small penis. How the hell does Simon Pierce translates to small penis will always be a mystery. One argument later. Now I am going back to my home while hearing some fan songs. Seriously, these songs are just fire. But in my admiration of songs I forgot to hear the honk of the truck. Suddenly it felt like my entire world went slow. My brain was in shock, not able to adapt to the sudden change, but the pain came soon after. It felt like someone was hammering my entire body continuously. I heard some screams and the sound of the ambulance, but after that everything went dark. After an unknown amount of time. Unknown POV. In the endless darkness of the abyss there is a tree which glows brightly even in the eternal darkness of the abyss. The tree is responsible for wiping the memories of dead peoples and reincarnating them in different universes without any supernatural powers. We see another soul moving near the universal tree to get reincarnated, but suddenly when the soul was about to get reincarnated the tree shook, then everything went normal, but the soul was nowhere near. The soul about to be reincarnated disappeared. The tree didn't think much and went back to its job as it is the only thing it knows. Back to MC POV. After waking up all I see in darkness, I thought that I am dead and hallucinating. People say your brain flashes your entire life just before death. But all I am seeing is darkness. Don't tell me my entire future life is this bad that my brain perceives it as darkness. But seriously, what is happening? More than enough time has passed to let me know that I am awake and I can't feel my body parts, so looks like I am somewhere between death and life, but where exactly I have no idea. It has quite long and I still haven't figured out where I am or how long has it passed since my death, but I have noticed that whatever place I am in, it has gotten more cramped, like another person was inside it. I tried to speak but voice isn't coming out of my mouth, that is if I even have a mouth. Some more time later I can finally move by legs and arms. Also my neighbors in the black box. Oh yes, the place which I have been in for quite a time. I have decided to call it a black box as you know it is quite dark inside. By now that I can move my limbs I have been doing that quite a lot, but I get tired quite fast and the box does not break. Sometime later, after I gained the ability to move my limbs, I started to count in my mind to help me remember the time and also save me from going insane, but I lost count after 3,000 seconds. But I didn't give up and continued trying. And I finally was able to count up to 86,400, that means a day. But to know the exact time I would have to add all the counts I have had. Some painful addition later. I have calculated that I have counted a total of 20 million seconds, meaning a total of 231 days approximate, and taking the time I didn't count I can say that about 8.5 months have passed now. Soon I will be able to test my various theories I have conjured in my free time. The theories I have come up are as follows. 1. I am about to die and am hallucinating. 2. After I got hit by the truck some secret agency took me in to do some biological experiments. 3. I am in hell or heaven and this is the general procedure. Now that almost 9 months have passed I am sure something will happen, so I am trying to keep myself conscious for as long as possible as I always go to sleep if I leave my mind empty. 9 months later after the death of MC. 500 years after the Great Holy War. Unknown POV. In Lucifer, the largest castle was in uproar as the mother of all devils and the queen of succubus Lilith was giving birth to her children. Many devils were thinking what was so new as Lilith was giving birth to biological children of her and Lucifer, as other all first-gen devils are made out of her flesh by her husband the original Lucifer, the first devil and the angel who rebelled against the Heavenly Father. Lucifer used the book of Lucifer and Lilith's flesh to make the other devils, but currently the ones Lilith was going to give birth was their biological children. But the Great Holy War has long ended and the original 4 great Satans are dead and Lilith was missing since the end of the Great Holy War as the succubus race was driven to extinction by the other factions and pantheons due their powers and beauty. Had made all the servants are asking questions as Lady Lilith suddenly came back and now she is about to give birth to twins. Calm down Melissa, first help Lady Lilith have a safe birth and then I will tell everyone the reason for such circumstances. After listening to the head maid, the maid called Melissa calmed down thanks to her maid training. After that Melissa told the other servants the same thing. In the room of Lilith. Push Lady Lilith, the twins' head is out, just a little more push and they will be born. After hearing the maid, the mature woman also known as the Queen of Underworld gathered her strength and pushed hard. Oh, a cry of a baby sounded in the corridors of the castle along with a large amount of demonic pressure fell on the room, making everyone other than Lilith and the head maid fall to their knees, and suddenly the pressure was gone like it was never there. After that the head held the 2 newborn twins and saw them. One was crying while the other was looking at her with eyes full of intelligence and shock. The head maid said, Lady Lilith, the twins are both healthy and both are boys, and handed the twins to Lilith. Lilith, who was very tired after giving birth to 2 babies, now held the twins like they are the most precious things in the world. And smiling started to think for their names. After a bit of thinking, Lilith started to speak. I will name my sons as Rizevim Livian Lucifer and Cain Livian Lucifer and proclaim them as the heir to the house of Lucifer, with both being equal inheritors. After saying this, she kissed both her children and looked towards the headmaid, and suddenly her body started to become faint and finally she disappeared, leaving everyone except the headmaid confused and bewildered. Just like the children understood that something happened to their mother by instinct, they started crying, leading to the headmaid to start ordering the other servants. Chapter 2, Birth. MCPOV. Suddenly the black box started to convulse as if trying to push us out. I was ecstatic as finally after 9 months I will see some light. Seriously, I was getting claustrophobic inside. And just as my head was out, I heard, "Push Lady Lilith, the twins' heads are out a little more and they will be born." And after that I was in the hands of a woman. Wait, let me change that to a beautiful woman, and she was a giantess and every other person in the room was a giant too. Looks like I am in Brobdingnag like in that one novel. And how many of you understood that reference? Oh, I heard a baby cry and looked. That was my neighbor of the black box, and he is a newborn child. Wait, does that mean I am also a baby? And looked at the person who was now holding us, a very beautiful lady with black hair. The lady handed me to another lady who, even when haggard, was like a goddess with yellow eyes, beautiful enough to get lost. I instinctively understood that this woman was my mother. My mother held me and my neighbor from black box. Wait, if I am a child, does that also mean that black box was the womb and my neighbor is my brother? After holding us, the lady that is my mother named me Cain Livian Lucifer and my brother Rizevim Livian Lucifer and kissed us on the forehead and suddenly disappeared, leaving us on the bed. Just after that my brother started to cry and I started feeling sleepy as my eyelids got heavy. Looks like I did too much thinking for a newborn baby and fell asleep on the soft bed, feeling the warmth of my first mother of both lives. As I was an orphan, my precious life. So this warmth was something precious to me. Headmaid POV. After Lady Lilith suddenly vanished, all the servants were shocked and confused, so I alerted them. Clap. All of you stop staring at the bed like fools and get to work. Melissa, put the babies in their room and make sure they are sound. Sleep safely, make no compromise for their safety and comfort. Other will go and do their work, and after completing your work gather in the main hall of the castle. I will explain what happened today. There, now stop standing like statues and go do your work. After neutralizing the situation, I went to do my work as the headmaid. I have to make sure the twins are safe. They are last hope for the Lucifer bloodline. I must keep my promise to Lady Lilith. First I will talk to Lord Lucifer and inform him of the situation. He will surely help in protecting the babies from the other devils and fallens. After some time all the servants of the house Lucifer were gathered in the hall, eagerly awaiting for me to explain the happenings of today and their implications. First of all, I would like to tell you that there should be no interruptions during my explanation, and I will answer all the doubts you may have after completing my explaining. All of this started when the Great Holy War was about to end. Lucifer was enraged that he was losing against the Heavenly Father and was using the Book of Lucifer to make devil from Lilith's flesh non-stop, turning her infertile and causing necrosis. So Lady Lilith didn't go into hiding, but she was simply put somewhere hidden by Lord Lucifer. But Lady Lilith had already predicted that Lucifer would do something similar, so before she lost her powers and form she spent a night with Lucifer and got pregnant. But she knew if she told that to Lucifer he will use their children as war machines, so she made me promise that I will protect the 2 babies when they will be born. To prevent them from being born during the war, she went to Lord Agar's and split her body. One body staying with Lucifer as the queen of the underworld and other was put in a time-stop chamber by Lord Agar's, so they are born later in the future. And today that clone of Lady Lilith came and gave birth to the twins that were conceived 500 years ago. This is the reason as to why Lady Lilith suddenly disappeared after giving birth, as the clone ran out of demonic energy reserves. Now if you all may have any questions, I will answer them, so ask away. Miss Rachel, if the Lady Lilith who gave birth was a clone, then where is the original Lady Lilith? Vanessa, a far relative of the Valifor clan who recently became a maid, asked the question, to which my reply was, nobody knows where the Lucifer kept Lady Lilith, but it has to be somewhere in the underworld, as outside it would not be safe for Lady Lilith, and I don't think Lord Lucifer will take such risks. And after answering some more questions like, why did Lucifer hid Lilith, or why did Lady Lilith didn't come back after the war, everyone's curiosity was fulfilled and then everyone went back to work. Now I am going to meet Lord Lucifer. He should be on the way to the castle, as I had already informed him before coming to the main hall. Walking inside the living room of the castle, I find a silver-haired man with a fearless face. This is Lord Lucifer. I bowed a little to show him respect, and he showed a little smile of his own. After explaining the situation about the twins, he went into deep thought, and after a while he said to me, Rachel, I understand the seriousness of the matter, so I will give you my word, as I will do my best to protect the heirs of House Lucifer. And surprisingly, my wife also gave birth to 2 twins, 1 boy and 1 girl 3 months ago, so they will make nice Lucifugs for the young Lucifers. I will start their training after they come of age. Until then you should make sure that the young Lucifers have a nice childhood. After saying so and explaining to me about who to tell and who not to tell, Lord Lucifer left me in the living room and went back to his own territory. I started the preparations to announce in the underworld about the birth of not 1 but 2 Lucifers, as this would send waves across the entire biblical pantheon, as many would try to harm or manipulate the young Lucifers for their own gain, and as the headmaid of the proud house of Lucifer I will make sure that no harm comes to the twins. MCPOV. After some time I finally woke to see that I am now in baby crib and my twin brother is still sleeping. After recalling what events had happened in the past, I was once again in shock, as I died and got reborn as a baby, on top of that as a Lucifer, as I am pretty sure my mother said my name was Cain Livian Lucifer. So what now, I am a devil who rules hell, or I am his successor, but whatever. After a while where I was thinking if gods were real or not, the gate to our room suddenly opened and a mature woman with white hair came in. She first checked on my brother, and finding him sleeping she came near me and picked me up and looked at me with a smile and said, "Hello young lord, I am Rachel Eligos from the house of Eligos, and I am the headmaid of the house of Lucifer. Is this woman retarded or what? I am one day old baby and she is giving me a introduction. The hell am I gonna understand it?" But suddenly I saw that I was able to understand her language as well as comprehend it. So it means that devils mature fast and their children also smarter than a human child, or this is because I am a reincarnator, but this still doesn't explain the language problem. So this must be the fabled silver tongue, the ability to understand and speak all kinds of languages, so fascinating. And after she introduced herself she waved her hand and a bottle of milk appeared and she fed me. Not gonna lie, I was a bit disappointed at not being able to drink from the source, but food is food, so I drink, and after a long time I had a taste of food in my mouth, and again after sleeping I went to sleep as I was still a one-day-old baby. Chapter 3, First Year and Meeting Gerhard Lucifuge. MCPOV. A year has quickly passed after being reborn, and it was quite a year with me soiling my diapers and getting embarrassed, my brother crying and being annoying, with maids literally fulfilling every need of ours on a moment's notice. All in all, although embarrassing, but overall it was a good year. Today is my birthday and Rachel told me that there is a surprise for me and my brother, but I, using my puppy eyes, managed to get Melissa to tell me what was the surprise. Apparently the head of House Lucifuge and the right-hand man of the Lucifer is coming to visit me today. This was the surprise that Rachel was talking about. It is surely a big matter of the Lucifuge is coming. I must be on my best behavior to impress him, as he will be essential to my survival until I am strong enough to keep myself safe. During the evening Rachel came and picked both me and Riz to prepare us for the evening party. And yes, I nicknamed my brother Riz. He gets annoyed by it sometimes. It is fun see him look at me like he is going to eat me alive. Also, the evening party is only attended by the servants of House Lucifer and Lord Lucifuge, as the official announcement of our birth will be on our third birthday. To make sure that until then there is no attack on me and my brother, Rachel went to quite a length to protect us, even as far to make a soul geese with every servant that they will not reveal any info on the Lucifer twins. After entering the hall from my limited vision, most of which was restricted by the huge mountains of Rachel, I was able to spot many familiar faces like Melissa, Aaron, Diana, and more. They were all the servants of House Lucifer, as I have at least seen them once trying sneak peek at me. I have not seen my appearance up until now, as I can't walk or crawl, so my guess is I am quite cute, and seeing as Riz is also quite cute, I should be cute too. After seeing a bit more, I saw a new face which I hadn't seen until now in the castle. That man or devil, I guess, has silver hair up to his neck, a nicely trimmed hair, and a fearless look on his face. All in all, he looks like the perfect butler material. I guess that man is Gerhard Lucifuge, the butler of the original Lucifer, and frankly he fits the role of being a devil's butler to a T. Like the look at his face says it all. Suddenly he turns and looks towards me as if knowing I was analyzing him, and have a gentle grandfatherly smile and started walking towards Rachel. After coming near me he greeted me and Riz, "Happy birthday to both of you young Lucifers," and waved his hand, summoning 2 rings with silver crystal embedded in them. After inserting the ring in my and Riz hand, the ring fitted them automatically. He said, "These rings are my birthday gifts to you young lords. They can survive a full power attack of an ultimate class being for a full minute, but after that it will break." Hearing those words, my mind definitely decided that maintaining a healthy relationship with this man will be beneficial, as someone who can give items like this must be strong. But how strong is ultimate class? Like, depending on how strong ultimate class is, these rings can be life-saving to useless. Looks like I need to get information about this world. It seems I need to start reading the books in the library, but for now let me enjoy my birthday, as it only comes once in a year. Now I am sitting on the chair along with Riz as we are about to cut the cake, and it is huge, like almost equal to a small hill in size. It can probably fill the stomach of 5 elephants, but surprisingly the devils can eat a lot as their metabolism is quite strong. After me and Riz blew the candle, everybody sang the birthday song and we partied, or like the adult devil did, as we got tired quite quickly and Rachel put us to sleep. Gerhard POV. Today I finally met the 2 young offspring of my lord, and just like my lord they are incredibly strong. Especially the one named Cain has demonic energy reserves equal to low ultimate class, and his eyes radiate intelligence as if he not a child but an adult, while the young Rizevim also has reserves equal to mid-class, making both of them transcendents. Looks like the younger generation of this time is quite strong, having 4 transcendents, the other 2 being the daughter of Zitikus having high-class reserves and also the power of destruction of the Baal clan, whereas the child of Lord Astaroth also has mid-class reserves, so we have 4 transcendents in this generation. What a great thing, the devils at least will have strong leaders in the future. Third-person POV. In a darkly lit room we can see some people sitting together. One of them presents a magical projection of 2 young babies having silver hair sleeping peacefully. After seeing the projection on, the men started screaming in shock and started saying, "It is impossible, don't lie to me you scheming bastard, it must be a trick from you to scare me, yes it must be." Another person who is lady said with a pleasant voice, calming the man, "Calm down Lord Paimon, Lord Zagan wouldn't lie over something this serious, am I right?" The man, also revealed as Lord Zagan, one of the devil pillars, said, "Yes, I am not lying, as one of my spies who is a servant in the Lucifer castle saw both the children, and every devil know that silver hair like that means Lucifer." The last person, and the person who was constantly releasing his power, said with a heavy voice, "Zagan, use your spy to make sure that the children are monitored, and Paimon, you confirm the truth behind this projection, as this will be a big threat to our plan." The lady again asked, what if they are of the Lucifer bloodline, then what are we supposed to do? The man said in a no-nonsense voice, if it is true then the Lucifer bloodline will once again be made to go extinct. Until we need to make a move or the news is verified, do not contact or call a meeting again. Soon the 4 persons left the room and vanished in the darkness of the night. Chapter 4, Another Year and Seeing Death Close Once Again. MCPOV. Another year has passed away and I have grown closer with the servants too. Now I can finally walk as a devil. Physiology is stronger. I should be able to start controlling the energy under me, or demonic reserves as called by Rachel. She also teaches me other things in devil history in the form of children's stories. Melissa is from House Barbados, so she is like a free animal who is overly curious, as the clan trait of Barbados is to tame and control animals, normal and underworld types too, so she takes upon her tamed animal that is a wild cat. She plays with me, or more like teasing me, to which I give a deadpan face and she starts complaining. She also is clumsy and lazy, so Rachel always punishes her. Vanessa is from House Valifor. She was supposed to the heir, but she does not have the clan trait that is shadow manipulation, so she was disowned, so Rachel took her in as a servant of House Lucifer. She is also a very good cook and always feed me new dishes from the human world, but I know most of them, but I still give reactions to not look suspicious. Aaron is from House Paimon and their clan trait is telekinesis, which a very odd power if used correctly, but he sometimes acts suspiciously, so I try not to be alone with him for long. He always keeps smiling, which kinda creepy, but the other maids keep dreaming about him as he is quite handsome. And lastly, Rachel, who as I knew from her introduction is from House Elagos and their clan trait is ghost-like powers. There is no fixed name, but she can possess things and talk with recently dead living beings while using a special ritual to talk with someone who died long ago, though only the clan head is able to do so. She is generally strict, but sometimes on my and Riz's stupid actions shows a little smile, which just leads to me having a nosebleed as the gap mo is too strong with this one. And the last year Gerhard visited 2 to 3 times, and every time he came his eyes will look at me and Riz like we are his grandsons. He also brought toys to play with, which were toys for children, which I found embarrassing to play with, and to not look suspicious I had to play with them. I totally not played because they looked cool. Alright. 2 months have passed since my 2nd birthday and Riz has been pestering me to play with him. That Aaron came to us and asked us if we would like to take a walk around the garden behind the castle. To which Riz replied, no Aaron, I am going to play with Cain, so you can go to the garden, and started to bring out his toys. Aaron like always smiled and looked towards me, and I, to escape from playing with Riz, said yes. I would like to go to the garden and see the flowers. Aaron, who had kept smiling all the time, now looked towards Riz, who reluctantly agreed to go to the garden as the vote was in my favor. See that this proves that I am the big brother by 1 minute, and Aaron lifted us in his arms and started walking towards the castle while smiling, and it was getting creepy seeing him smile no matter what Riz did to annoy him. So to see him he ever loses his smile, I also started annoying him by pulling his hair, pinching him, but my surprise he kept smiling and kept walking towards the garden, and for the first time in Second Life I started to have a bad feeling in my gut. Third person POV. Some days before Aaron took Cain and Riz to the garden. In a dark lit room again, the same scene as 1 year ago can be seen, but this time the atmosphere is tense. The tension is such that you can cut it with a knife. After some time the mysterious man spoke. Have you figured out the truth, Paimon? The man known as Paisival Paimon spoke. Yes, I have confirmed that the children are descendants of Lucifer born from Lilith, but how I can't figure it out. The lady spoke. It doesn't matter how or why, we just need to make sure that they are dead so our plan doesn't fail. The mysterious man spoke with a heavy voice. You are right, Lady Andress, we must make sure that they die before they are able to create problems for us. Their birth is not known to the underworld yet, so even if they die we won't any questioned, as we don't know, so we can simply deny it and they can't investigate in the open. The man once again spoke. Zagan, you have a spy close to the twins, right? Tell him to do the job carefully. Zagan replied, yes lord, I will make sure that Aaron does his job correctly. Hearing a familiar name, Paimon spoke. Is this Aaron, the son of the sub-family of me? To this Zagan simply replied yes and left, and soon following him the other left too, leaving the dim lit room empty. MCPOV. After getting in the garden, Aaron simply started towards the forest beyond the garden. Not understanding his intention, I asked him, Aaron, your clan is Paimon, right? So what is your clan trait? He replied, yes young lord, I am from the Paimon clan and my clan trait is telekinesis. Hearing that Riz spoke, wow, that means you can lift things from far away and through them far away too. I already knew what his clan trait was, so I asked just to be sure and to check whether he would lie to me or not, and he told me the truth. That means he is not an enemy, but my gut feeling says so otherwise. I noticed that we were quite far in the forest, and feeling suspicious I asked Aaron, why are you taking us so deep into the forest? Didn't you say we will go into the garden? He replied in a tone of amusement, I was wondering when you would ask me, young Lord Lucifer. It would have been better if you asked a bit later, but we are far away, so let me show you instead of telling you, and looked towards me, and feeling the sarcasm in his tone when he said young Lord Lucifer made me alert, but suddenly I was flying and I was seeing Aaron upside down and I hit tree while Riz was thrown behind me. He didn't crash with a tree but with the ground. The pain, it felt like I was hit by a truck again. The sturdy tree with the telekinesis and physical force of an adult devil surely helped to once again remind of my death. My vision was a little dizzy, but I stood up while Aaron watched me stand up, amused with that creepy smile of his. After I stood up he started clapping. Clap clap asterisk. The young lord has finally stood up to die and made motion of grabbing air, lifting it up, and suddenly it felt like my neck was choked and IST. Chapter 5, Rage. MCPOV. The stare down between Rachel and Aaron was broken by Rachel asking, "Why are you doing this, Aaron? Weren't you the servant of the Lucifer house for the past 2 decades? Does the relations and time you spent with us mean nothing to you?" Hearing this, Aaron's smile got wider, almost like his cheeks were cut, and started laughing and said, "What are you talking about, Rachel? None of that matters to me. Why should I care? We are devils. We don't need to show sympathy, love, or any other feeling. Devils are supposed to be evil. Treachery, betrayal, and all other crimes are like our goal, so why are you surprised? Anyways, your talk will not make any difference as the gap in power between me and you is too large." After saying that, he started releasing his aura, which kept on rising it until it reached low ultimate class, which shocked everyone present here, as we knew that Rachel was only high class, so the chances of us surviving were extremely low. But even after seeing the gap in power between Aaron and herself, Rachel didn't move or shake in fear or despair. She kept standing strong and said, "Melissa, Vanessa, take the young lords to safety." And suddenly from behind us, Melissa and Vanessa came and lifted us and took us away from Rachel. We were only able to see as Rachel and Aaron started their fight. Rachel POV. I suddenly felt that something bad was about to happen, and my instinct has helped me quite a few times in life-threatening situations, so I trusted my instinct and jumped back. Just a second later, a spike of earth came out at the spot I was standing earlier. Looks like Aaron can use his telekinesis quite proficiently, and he is also stronger than me. The only way I have a chance of winning is that he underestimates me and I managed to kill by surprise. I started to dematerialize to increase my speed and defense and moved towards him in my astral form, but he seemed to have sensed me and moved aside. Looks like he can tell my position in this form too. I have no other notable abilities as there no one to posses, and Aaron can't be possessed by me as he is stronger, and he should have protected his mind as he knows about my ability. The only way left is to stay in my astral form and keep using devil magic to defeat him. I started using devil magic, and by imagining my attacks I was able to cast it instantly, but Aaron simply dodged, used telekinesis, or overpowered my magic with his own. Third-person POV. In the forest behind the Lucifer castle, some explosions can be seen going off as Rachel and Aaron fight while Melissa and Vanessa carry the twins and keep coming towards the castle. But suddenly Cain spoke, "Melissa, take me back to Rachel. She will die if she fights Aaron alone. He is an ultimate class devil." But Melissa kept running and replied, "No, young lord, Lady Rachel ordered me to get you to safety and then come back." Cain impatiently spoke, "She will be long dead by the time you take us to the castle and come back. Take me back. This is an order, Melissa. I have a plan, trust me." Melissa looked towards Vanessa while Rizevim also spoke, "This an order from me too, Vanessa. Take me back to the place the fight is happening." Nodding towards each other, Vanessa and Melissa turned around and started running towards the spot where the fight was going on. I was not lying when I said I had a plan. Well, it was relying on the ring Gerhard gave to me on my first birthday. It could withstand the all-out attack of an ultimate class being for a whole minute, so I was betting that in that 1 minute Rachel could defeat or at least injure Aaron so that we can run back to the castle. After a few minutes we finally reached the place where the fight was going on, and seen there shocked me. Rachel was heavily injured, with her white hair becoming red, showing clear signs of several head injuries on hand, was lying limp on the side while her breathing was labored. While not unscathed, Aaron was undoubtedly in a better condition. He had some injuries but nothing too serious, and the creepy smile was still on his face. After reaching there I shouted to Rachel, "Rachel, fast, come towards me." Rachel, hearing that, suddenly turned and started running towards me. Unlike Melissa, who I had to order, Rachel heard me and acted on it immediately. This shows that she trusts me more than Melissa does. While Aaron simply started walking towards us and spoke, "Wow, young lord is so eager to die that he came back. Looks like young lord is quite a moron that even after being so close to escaping you came back just to die." By the time he had completed his villainous speech, Rachel was already near, and I started to tell her my plan, but not before asking Melissa to put a simple barrier to not let Aaron hear about my plan. After the barrier was up I started to speak, "Rachel, just after the barrier breaks I will use the ring that Gerhard have to me and create another barrier, and just as Aaron will keep attacking the barrier you should sneak out and deliver a decisive blow to him while he is focusing on the barrier, as he cannot sense inside the barrier. Remember to hide your demonic signature once you get out of the barrier." After hearing my plan, Rachel simply nodded and started to hide her demonic signature, and soon the barrier made by Melissa broke. We all were surprised as it took this long for the barrier to break. Looks like Aaron is taking his time with us. Good for us, this means he is underestimating us. Just as the barrier broke, Aaron, using his clan trait, lifted earth, made them into spikes and threw them at us, and at that moment I pushed a little of my demonic energy in the ring and a grey-colored barrier covered us and took the earth spikes without having a scratch. Looking as his attack got hindered, Aaron showed a surprised expression, but his smile returned soon after and he spoke, "So this the ring's power given by Lord Lucifer. Looks like it was not a fancy ring but a protective barrier. Very nice, but what about its time limit? Surely an artifact like this will have a time limit after that, what?" Even if he was right, we had another ring in Rizevim's finger, so we had 2 minutes instead of 1. But as I turned towards Riz, I saw that his ring was dim, like he already used his power. Fearing the worst, I asked him, "What happened to your ring, Riz?" And he replied, "I used it when Aaron first threw me against the ground." Hearing that, my blood ran cold. Now this means we only have 1 chance, no second chance. Rachel has already stepped outside and preparing to strike. It's too late to call her as it would reveal her position, so I can only bet that she manages to injure Aaron. While looking at Aaron, it seemed he knew what we were doing as he spoke, suddenly stopping his attacks on the barrier. "Did you really think you, a mere high-class devil, can escape my senses, you fool?" And just then the barrier broke and I saw a horrifying scene. Aaron had one of his hand passing through Rachel's stomach and she was about to die, and she looked towards me and said weakly, "Run." And her eyes closed. Aaron threw her away and looked towards me, his smile getting abnormally large as he said, "Why don't you run, young lord? I was not giving any attention to him as the moment Rachel closed her eyes and spoke towards me was repeating in front of my eyes, and seeing Aaron smiling, something snapped within me, and the last thing I saw was Aaron getting to his knees due my demonic pressure, and for the first time his face losing his smile and then getting impaled by tens of spears made up of a dark light. After this happened, I suddenly woke up from my trance and ran towards Rachel to find her still breathing and looking towards me. Chapter 6, The Might of a Lucifer and Farewell. Vanessa POV. I pride myself in being able to keep my stoic face in front of anyone or any situations, but my stoic facade was broken twice in single day, and both were for different reasons, once for despair and once by awe in someone's power. Sometime before I saw Miss Rachel coming towards me and Melissa with a panicked expression on her face. Looks like the young lords did something dangerous. It has been like this for the past few months. Because the young lords became able to crawl, they have been doing mischievous things and troubling every servant in the castle, with the exception being Miss Rachel, as they listen to only her. Even me and Melissa sometimes get annoyed by them. Melissa, Vanessa, quickly follow me. The young lord have gone missing. It seems like a servant took them in the forest where it has been prohibited by me. Their demonic signatures are coming from very deep inside the forest where it is dangerous. Saying so, she, without waiting for our response, she ran using demonic energy to augment her speed. Me and Melissa followed her, seeing the situation was quite serious. Augmenting our legs with demonic energy, we also ran behind Miss Rachel. Reaching inside the forest, Miss Rachel told us while running, "You two first make sure that the young lords are safe. I will handle the problem. If I alone am not capable to defeat the opponent, first make sure to take the young lords to the castle and then come back." Hearing this, Melissa turned towards me and slowly said, "I don't think I would come to that. Miss Rachel is a high-class devil, right?" I replied, "Maybe, oh, may not be. There are people stronger than Miss Rachel, but among the servants she is the strongest." And we saw a shocking scene. Aaron was about to attack the young lords, and seeing this, Miss Rachel dematerialized to increase her speed and passed through Aaron, making him unstable. I nodded towards Melissa and ran towards Lord Rizevim and picked him up. He was surprisingly unharmed, looked like he lucked out. After that, we started to run towards the castle as per Miss Rachel's order, while Melissa was carrying Lord Cain, while I was thinking about Aaron's betrayal, while I and Melissa were unaffected about it as we didn't associate with him much, while Miss Rachel did as her job required her to do so. And the worrying part was that Aaron was in ultimate class, just the low level, but still quite a bit stronger than Miss Rachel. It may be hard for her to defeat him. Flashback no jutsu. Young Vanessa POV. It has been 3 weeks since I have been abandoned by the Valifor clan because I didn't awaken the Valifor clan's ability. They believe that I am a failure of the clan, and only those who have the ability to control and manipulate the shadows are true members of the Valifor clan. Even my own mother, who always encouraged me and played me, threw away and looked at, eyes filled with contempt, her face looking as if blaming me as to why I didn't awake the clan trait. I was in despair for the first week, but after that I decided that moping will get me nowhere. I decided to make myself strong, but after a week I finally understood why devils value clan traits so much. I was only able to augment myself with demonic energy after practicing for a whole week, but I had seen my cousin do so in a day with only a little training. This made me despair, and I went into a state of despair once again. But then one lady in a black and white maid outfit with white hair and green eyes came to me, and even with me being a devil, she looked like an angel to me. She offered me help, took me as an apprentice maid, and I was surprised to find that I was a maid of the esteemed Lucifer house. For me, Miss Rachel was my angel who saved even a failure like me and helped me get strong, even if only a little bit, gave me a home and a family. Current Vanessa POV. After myself thinking, I suddenly heard Lord Rizevim talking. An order from me to Vanessa: take me back to the place the fight is happening. Hearing that, I was surprised that both the young lords were not scared but also willing to help Miss Rachel. After that, both me and Melissa went back to the place, and with Lord Cain devising a simple but concrete plan, I thought everyone will be safe, but I was proven wrong as I was currently watching Aaron throw Miss Rachel's body away, leaving a gaping hole in her abdomen. Seeing my savior in such a state, I was broken. I wanted to kill that bastard for doing this to her, but I couldn't move. I was feeling fear from that bastard. Tears were running down my face as my stoic mask broke, but I couldn't move or speak. But suddenly a pressure which was equal to Aaron but much more domineering than Aaron, that even felt burdened and fell down to his knees. This pressure felt like completing us to kneel as if he was our emperor, and we did. Both me and Melissa were kneeling while Lord Rizevim was knocked out. From the corner of my saw Lord Cain standing with glowing crimson eyes, and his hand opened towards Aaron, and suddenly many smoke made up of light impaled him, and he died just like that, not even being able to scream in his last moments. After that, the pressure disappeared and Lord Cain started to go near Miss Rachel. I also followed him while passing Lord Rizevim to Melissa. She looked at me, motioned me to go ahead. She realized that this would probably be the last conversation with Miss Rachel for me. MC POV. I didn't know what happened, but I knew I had somehow managed to kill Aaron. I reached near, bent down and held her hand. Surprisingly, she was smiling while looking at me and concerned or worried. I was about to say about helping her, but she stopped me and started speaking. Lord Cain, you finally awakened your clan trait at such a young age. I thought you will awaken it at a later age, but you proved me wrong, and thank you for letting me witness the power of dark light, which even the Heavenly Father found hard to counter. Rachel started to cough blood and her condition starts to get worse. I was about to tell her to stop and I will make sure she will recover, but she put a finger on my mouth and I felt her look behind me. I turned and saw Vanessa standing behind me with tears running down her cheek. Noticing I also found I was also crying. Rachel once again started speaking. Vanessa, I know you always keep that stoic mask of yours to keep you away from emotions, and yes, I know that your stoic look is a mask. After all, I raised you. I only hope you stay being a servant of house and serve the lords well. Cough. She spewed more blood and with a smile on her face said, "Young lord, please restore the house of Lucifer and Vanessa support the young master well." And with that Rachel stopped breathing and her eyes closed and she had most beautiful smile I had seen on her face until now. After that Rachel's body started to disappear and finally it burst in white feathers and flew away. Looks like I won't even get to cremate her properly. This is the price of messing with the dead with the ability to become ghost-like beings while alive. Your body won't stay in the material world after death. With that, today's exhausting day ended with me losing something precious and gaining a new determination. I will become the strongest devil, even stronger than the original Lucifer. All that were behind this act, whether it be Clan Paimon or BAEL, all will pay. Chapter 7. The Aftermath. Cain POV. A week has passed since Rachel's death and I was moping about for the past week and I have come to think a lot about my years after being reborn and the past incidents. I have been far too naive that just because I was born with a silver spoon life will be good. Nobody will make my life difficult. I have been a fool for thinking that it took the death of my maid and first friend in my second life who was loyal even in her last moment. I have also been thinking about how to figure out the ones behind the death of Rachel. Every way is a no-go as I don't have strength or authority. So from now on gain information about this world and grow strong enough to shame the original Lucifer. I also heard from Melissa, who was taking care even though I was throwing a tantrum, that Rizevim has also locked himself in his room just like and also refuses to eat. But I have enough of this world now. This world will finally get to know Cain, Livian, Lucifer at its best. I will follow the 4 rules from now on. Survive, adapt, improvise, overcome. I survived the attack on my life, now I will adapt to this world, improvise myself to become strong, and lastly overcome whatever comes my way with the best of my ability. After that self-review I came out of my room to make some decisions as the heir of the house of Lucifer. Me coming out of my room after a long time was quite a surprise from the servants as they were looking at me like I was a new animal species, but I ignored them and went to find Melissa as after Rachel she was now the one in charge, but it will change to me now as I will only believe and trust those I choose. After finding Melissa called her out, she turned towards me and with surprise evident in her voice she spoke, "Did you come out of your room, my lord?" I replied to that with a short nod and with a gesture asked her to follow me. After bringing her to my room I sat on the bed and started to talk. "Melissa, does the castle has a library?" "Yes it has, my lord." I nodded my head and asked, "Can I make decisions which affect the clan as a whole?" She looked at me confused but replied, "No lord, for decisions affecting the clan as a whole both the heirs need to agree on it. Apparently Lady Lilith had left behind a will and Miss Rachel after your birth kept it in the castle vault." Hearing that I went into thought. Looks like I can't make big decisions, but I can't trust Rizevim after I saw that look on his face after hearing that twisted words of Aaron, so looks like I would need to talk to him about making a pact between us of non-aggression. After that I replied to Melissa, "Go ask Riz to come out of him, and if he refuses to come out tell him I need to make a big decision. I need his consent for that too." After Melissa went to do as I told, I went to take a bath with servants to help me. Even if I am a better in physical department due to my devil physiology, I am still a child. After taking a bath I went to the library by asking another one of the servants to guide me there. After reaching the library I asked the servant to leave me alone and tell Melissa to come here after she has done what I have asked of her. After that I started to look for books on devil history and clan traits of various house, but one book suddenly caused me to freeze just by reading its name, which was Sacred Gears, and its types. The gears in my mind moved at an astronomical speed because I heard that in one of the animes I watched for time pass, if I remember its name was HIGHSCHOOL DxD. This, while easing me a little bit, terrified me a lot as gods and being which can destroy the world roam here like it's every Tuesday, and a boy with unhealthy obsession with weird stuff becomes as strong as the gods. But this also means I have a lot of knowledge about stuff in the future. But if I remember correctly, Rizevim was born to the Og Lucifer and was at least 1000 YRS old in canon, so this means I am that behind my canon, so holding backs means nothing as my actions may or may not affect it. And while I was busy thinking about the possible routes I can take, Melissa touched me and I suddenly jumped away, turning around, but seeing it was her I calmed down. Seeing that I calmed down she didn't comment and spoke, "Lord Rizevim is waiting for you in the living hall, my lord." I left my contemplation for a later time and went with even more resolve to make a non-aggression pact with Rizevim. Now I know that his motto is even more twisted than Aaron, thanks to my canon knowledge, and also my resolve to get stronger got even more better as I knew the threats, especially those machines and almost extinct fairies. Entering the hall I found Rizevim sitting on the couch, which was old-fashioned, and now I can clearly that crazy glint in his eyes. "Yeah, I think I need a non-aggression pact right now." I walked and sat in front, and after we both stared at each other I was about to speak when Rizevim spoke something which shocked me. "Let's split the house in 2 equal parts, Cain." And that line told one thing: canon was F***ed from this moment onwards. I blinked and looked around if it was a prank, but alas it was not, and he was being serious. I only thought of a simple pact of non-aggression until we become strong enough, but he went one step further and proposed to split the house in half. This would mean any harmful act against each would lead to the entire clan weakening and the other pillars taking advantage, so if both of us want a secure environment to grow strong we can't harm each other. Thea is simply brilliant and we are only 3 YRS old, so this the power of the big bad villain of anime. After a bit of thinking about the pros and cons along with the terms of the contract, as this can't be enforced with a mere pact, we need a certified devil contract for this. I looked towards Rizevim and nodded. He, understanding it, ordered all the servants except Melissa and Vanessa leave us alone. So even he finds both of them a little trustful. Good, at least he isn't a total madlad yet. Surprisingly, Vanessa got over Rachel's death in only 5 days and took her advice quite seriously, as I can see the fanaticism in her eyes towards me looks like she understood Rachel's last words as her will or something to look after me. And Rizevim came prepared as Melissa presented a contract between us. We both went over the terms and punishments for breaking the contract and then signed it by putting our demonic signatures on the contact paper, and then the contract paper burned in hellfire and vanished. And Rizevim left the hall just after, and I was pondering one of the terms of the contract that was 3. The maids Vanessa Valifor and Melissa Barbados will serve under Cain, Livian, Lucifer. For this exchange, Rizevim, Livian, Lucifer can have 2 more servants than the other party. This term was proposed by Riz, not me, and I accepted. Thinking about it, there can be only 2 reasons: either 1, the maids is loyal to him and not me, or he has 2 servants who are special. This will be up to me to decide which of the reasons is true. This reminded me of the party of our 3rd birthday where the lords of various houses will be present. I need to prepare myself for it as they will use everything to gain control over me, and I have no intentions of becoming someone's plaything, so into training and information gathering. An MC finally starts on the way to become a badass devil. There will one more chapter about the party and then a time skip when he gets his personal attendant, Lucifer. Chapter 8, Meeting the Devil Pillars. After a year, approximate. Cain POV. Vanessa was helping me get ready for my 3rd year birthday party. Originally the plan was to let all the lords and heirs attend the party, but it was changed to only the lords of the devil pillars. Also, for the past year I have started training my control over my demonic energy. I have also been keeping an eye on both Melissa and Vanessa, as the term of the contract still bugs me, but no signs of suspicions have been shown, but I will continue my suspicions until I am completely sure of their loyalty. Also, me and Riz now live in 2 opposite sides of the castle. He has his own servants and amenities while me my own. After my monologue was finished, Vanessa finished dressing me up, and boy was I looking cute with my silver hair and crimson eyes in a blue 3-piece suit. I was looking absolutely fabulous. I turned towards Vanessa, made puppy eyes and spoke, "How I am looking, Vanessa?" Her mask broke for a moment, but she replied coolly, "You are looking quite handsome, my lord." But that moment was more than enough me to see her little smile. After that she took me towards the main hall. I asked, "Are all the preparations completed?" She replied, "Yes, my lord." All the lords will be present. Will be today. The attitude will be decided by how they act towards me. I have also made plans towards what will Riz do. If he acts like a child which can be manipulated, I will act like a mature person, while if he acts like a mature person, I will act like a spoiled child. It's a 50-50, so I think I am prepared for his first move. After reaching the hall, I saw all the servants ready for the party while Riz was standing with his servant. I think his name was Cameron. Looks like he is the one he is going to make his personal butler. After seeing me, he smiled, to which I replied with a small nod. After that I looked at the clock and it showed 8 p.m. The main guests will start coming in a short while. The other lords of small houses were already there. As they looked at me coming down, they were shocked as I looked like a mature devil, not a child, with the no-nonsense look on my face. While looking towards Riz, I had seen him mingling with other lords, and the way he is acting, he looks like a fool with no understanding of the world, so he chose the spoiled kid role. Looks like he wants to look like a child who can be manipulated. He will act like he is getting manipulated and make the other lords attack me. That way the contract will not be broken, as he can simply say he was manipulated and it was not intentional. To counter this trick, I need to act strong, sending the message that I am not the one to be messed with. Various lords were licking the boots of Riz, as the Lucifer clan's fortune is enormous. It is even more than the current richest man alive in the human world. Not many clans or factions can boast of such wealth. Only the Phoenix clan is comparable, but they are still a little less wealthy than the Lucifer clan. Suddenly a big pressure descended on top of everyone present in the hall, and everyone went quiet. It was deathly silent, and suddenly only the walking of boots was sounding and a man entered the hall. He was middle-aged man with black hair and peaceful violet eyes, wearing a noble attire. He exudes as aura of dignity from his body. Undoubtedly this is Zekram Bale, one of the few living first-gen devils created by the Og Lucifer himself. He kept on walking, but he took his aura back. I didn't realize that I was holding my breath. So this is the power of a Satan-class devil. Truly awe-inducing power. To make a hall full of prideful devils quite just by his mere presence, and to think he not even remotely close to the top 10. Just what kind of ridiculous strength does they have? He came near me and lowered himself to my level and said in tone of a grandfather, just like Gerhard but less strict, "Congratulations on your 3rd birthday, my lord. May you live long and become even more famous than your father." I dumbly nodded my head as I was in shock. Wasn't he supposed to be a master politician who is also called the shadow of the devils? Why the hell is he acting like a old grandpa? Ignoring my internal conflict, I kept my attention on his words. If we look at relationships, we should be brothers, but as I am 5 millennials old while you are only 3 YRS old, that doesn't sound right, so you can call me by my name just like the original Lucifer said. I again simply nodded my head to maintain my no-nonsense style, although I was looking like a child throwing tantrum instead, but it is what it is. He then went towards Riz, and seeing him all the others left him alone, and he started his talk with him. Next Lord Phoenix came and gave his greetings and went to enjoy the party. Same one after the other. Various high-ranking lords came and went, and none caused a ruckus like Lord Bale did. Looks like they still have a semblance of respect for the Lucifer clan. But even after a long time I did not see the lords of House Paimon, Zagan, and Hajanti, as well as the notorious Lord Valak. The name reminds me of a movie Ghost back in Earth. But again a pressure fell at the hall, but this time it was much weaker than the last time, and like I had a déjà vu. The clacking of boots again started echoing, but this time the hall was not quite at all many who can resist the pressure simply ignored it and kept talking. The Lord of the House of Valak was another first-gen devil who has survived the Great Holy War against Heaven and Grigori. He had purple unkempt hair, black eyes, and a ferocious smile which will scare the faint of heart. He didn't give a fuck about anyone, and in the history books it is said he was even unafraid of the true Lucifer. That was the mastery he had over his clan trait, the power to stay unafraid as long as they believe they can win. He kept coming towards me and stood in front of me. He didn't give any greetings at all, he just stood there. This was an act of disrespect against the Lucifer heir. Well, half heir, but it is known only to certain people and all of them are under a life contract to not utter a word about it. But letting Zekram get away with it is one thing and letting Valak go is not. So I need to show him his place. I raised my voice and said, "What are doing, Lord Valak? This a party thrown by the Lucifer clan, not some power show by a circus that you can show your strength like you want." Everyone in the hall was shocked seeing me talk much better and reasonably than a 3-year-old should be. Valak kept on looking at me and then smiled and said, "What are you gonna do, Lord Lucifer? Beat some sense into me." He said so mockingly. He knew that a 3-year-old can't be that strong, but he was wrong. I was a transcendent being, meaning I was already strong since birth. I at once realized my ultimate class aura without any warning, and Valak's face went from mocking to surprise to having uncertainty. Satisfied that he understood he can't get away scot-free from this mess, he was thinking of a way to apologize without making others belittle him. After all, the Devil Society values reputation as much as personal strength, so he can't look weak in front of so many devil pillars. But before he can say something, another pressure almost equal to mine fell on him and everyone in the hall looked towards Riz. I didn't look as I knew he would not let me hog all the spotlight alone, and I knew he was also training his control over his demonic energy like me. Seeing that the other Lucifer has also made it clear he can't do as he please in the territory of Lucifer clan, Valak said, "Indeed, I have overstepped my boundaries, young Lord Lucifer. It was not my intention to harm the Lucifer clan's reputation. I apologize for my actions. My head butler will bring in formal apology along with proper compensation at a later date," he said, and left the hall without waiting for my reply. I was quite surprised that he accepted and apologized, as he was supposed to be quite an annoying devil, but looks like he can be clear-minded too. But with this little interaction, or should I say the Lucifer heirs, have made sure that the Lucifer clan is not weak. Out of the corner of eye I can see Zekram nodding his head like he agrees with my way of dealing with Valak. After that, nothing serious happened and the party went as planned. Made small talk with some other devil lords and the party ended. I was quite tired after that, so I left my dress to Melissa and went to bed. Chapter 9, Getting a Personal Maid. Cain POV. 10 YRS have passed since my birth in this fictional world, and I still am amazed by the sheer ridiculousness of the fact that I, a normal person, transmigrated from Earth to the world of Draconic Deus. After my 3rd birthday I started focusing on increasing my personal strength and knowledge. I studied about the devil history, clan traits, the Great Holy War, the angels' powers, the falling of Azazel and the orgy he created in heaven, along with some basic knowledge about all the other major pantheons like the Greek, Nordic, Hindu, Chinese and Shinto. I also tried to find information on some of the less known pantheons like the Egyptians, Aztecs, and Sumerian. I also studied about the sacred gears and the Longinus. I didn't ignore my massive potential due to being a direct descendant of Lucifer and Lilith and being a transcendent devil with low ultimate class demonic energy reserves at birth and having the Lucifer clan trait of dark light. I successfully managed to reach peak high class in strength, which is a record, as in the past no one had reached high class at the age of 10, which shows my talent. Riz also reads a lot, but the look in his eyes kept getting more crazy as time passes. He also trains and we sometimes spar, though it almost every time results in a draw due to me hiding my full strength and him being cunning in battle. My bond with Melissa and Vanessa has grown stronger over the years, as now I trust them quite a lot. But the reason for me thinking about my past in this world is because today is a day on which, depending on the decision I make, the future may change. Today is the day that will make me full-fledged Lucifer. Yes, today is the day I am going to get my Lucifuge. After having a monologue that lasted for about 5 minutes, I opened my eyes to find that Melissa was standing beside my chair on which I was sitting, and I was waiting for Gerhard to come along with his children. I was 90% sure that the children are going to be Grafia and Euclid, but if this is an O, then it may be a problem. But I have learned one thing after my reincarnation, that in this world your attitude changes a lot of things, so I will take any problems this world will throw at me with everything I have got. Just after my small monologue ended, the door opened and Vanessa came in. She has grown a little bit and became a beautiful lady. Vanessa looked towards me and said in monotonous voice, "Lord Cain, Lord Lucifuge has arrived and has gone to Lord Rizevim to let him meet his Lucifuge." I was surprised hearing that Gerhard went to Riz first and not me, but thinking about it, Gerhard trares me and Riz equally, so this should not come as surprising. After thinking a bit, I nodded my head and said, "After Gerhard is done with Riz, escort him to me. Both of you go and do this job." Hearing me, Vanessa nodded and went outside, while when Melissa was about to go I slapped her ass, making her startled. She then turned towards me and said in a teasing voice, "Looks like young Lord has gotten better at teasing the ladies." After saying that, she went outside, but I noticed the extra sway her ass had after that slap. I always tease Melissa and Vanessa every now and then. While Melissa sometimes returns the teasing twofold by her words or actions, Vanessa either glares at me like she will kill me if did it once more, or if the teasing gets too much, for she starts getting red as tomato, which made the situations more amusing to me. All while I was thinking about the reactions of Melissa and Vanessa, the gate of my study opened and the person I had been used to see around in these years appeared. Gerhard walked inside and sat in front of me and greeted me. I hope you are in good spirits, Lord Lucifer. Indeed I am in good spirits, Gerhard. I am exceptionally excited about meeting my Lucifuge today. Have patience, my lord. I will ask Graphia and Euclid to come in. I have ordered your maids to stay outside the room until asked to come inside, as this matter requires utmost secrecy. After I nodded in response, he clapped his hand twice. The gate opened and 2 children, one brother and sister, walked in. Only after they stopped and greeted me that I was out of stupor, as even comparing these little children to models of my previous seems like a cheating. This shows just how beautiful any character having a main role in DxD is. Both of them greeted in perfect harmony. We are pleased to make your acquaintance, Lord Lucifer. Now that they raised their heads, I could see some semblance between the anime and the world, although Graphia had her hair laid down and not in braids like she had in the anime. Seeing me not replying, Gerhard said, Lord Rizevim has chosen Euclid as his Lucifuge, Lord Cain, so this means you will get Graphia as your Lucifuge. Euclid, now go back to your lord. Hearing this, Euclid made a short bow and left, saying, Yes, father. Seeing that Euclid left, Gerhard got serious and asked Graphia, do you have anything to say or ask Lord Cain? Graphia. She nodded and asked, are you a good master and lord? I simply smiled and answered, why don't you stick around and find out, Graphia? Hearing my answer, Gerhard smiled, sending that I had no problem with Graphia, my Lucifuge. He then proceeded to tell me about the contract between a Lucifuge and Lucifer and blah blah. I just ignored it and stored it somewhere back in my brain so I can review it later. After completing his long-ass speech, Gerhard whispered something to Graphia, went back to his castle. Now only me and Graphia were in the room. I said, judging by your clothes you would be a maid, I guess. She simply replied with a nod without changing her emotions. Looks like she still takes her perfect maid role too seriously. That is something I will need to tone down in the coming years. I then called Melissa and Vanessa inside and started speaking. Melissa, Vanessa, meet Graphia. She is my Lucifuge and is going to be my personal maid from now on. Please let her know about my schedule and likes and dislikes. Both of them simply nodded and accepted Graphia. I had already told them about this beforehand, so there is no drama about me leaving them for her or some stupid anime idiocracy. After that I also went back to reading the records of the clan Lucifer in my study. Suddenly Vanessa entered the room, alerting me. I asked her, why didn't you knock, Vanessa? Is there an emergency? She looked at me and said, I did knock, my lord. You didn't answer. I came in. Oh, so what is your reason to come here? She replied, Lord, it is time for dinner. You haven't eaten or drank anything for the past 8 HRS. Your health may degrade if you keep losing track of time like this every time you start reading books. Oh, looks like I again forgot to keep track of my time. This one of the major problems of the devil race. Their perception of time is quite different, so it becomes hard to check how much time has passed. Very well, prepare the dinner. I will be coming after taking a bath. Hearing that, Vanessa went and also teleported to my room. Yes, I do teleport even for small distances to increase my control over my enormous demonic energy reserves. After taking a bath and wearing some light clothes, I went to the dining room to see the table set up and all Vanessa, Melissa, and Graphia standing near the largest chair. Looks like all of them are competing on who stands nearest to my chair. This is amusing. I sat down on the chair and was immediately blown away by the aroma of the food. Seriously, the cooks at the castle are too good at this. I taught them some basic dishes which will be invented in the future and they are already good at this. I started eating with a single thought in my brain, let's hope this peace lasts for a little more time before the civil war starts. Chapter 10, Spar between brothers. Cain POV. It's been 2 years since Graphia has joined me in the castle and our relationship as a Lucifer and Lucifuge is going swimmingly well. She really is a perfect maid, as it took her only 3 days to totally understand and remember my preferences, likes, dislikes and schedule, and she has been doing a great job at being my personal maid. Also, my teasing has increased a lot and now I am waiting for me to grow up so I can finally lose my DemV card, which has been etched into my existence since 29 YRS, if I take both of my lives into account, but for now I am waiting and cultivating the seeds of love in the hearts of my 2 beautiful maids. Graphia, while she talks to me normally, still has that emotionless look on her face every time she is in her maid work. I haven't managed to make her break her cold facade once. The only time I had heard her laugh was in the ladies' bath along with Melissa and Vanessa, and that was only because I was sneaking around to get a peek. Looks like one of my major sins is going to be lust. My main sin is wrath, which I generally keep under control due to multiple reasons, one of them being not going ballistic on every living being in my vicinity when I am in an annoyed mood. I have seen Riz going into the restricted section of the castle library multiple times, and every time he comes out the look in his eyes keep getting more and more crazy. Looks like Aaron's BS speech and some messed up magical books in the restricted sections do not mix up well, and one of his main sins being pride does not help it either. For the last couple of months I have been reducing the time I spend on supernatural history books and increasing the time I spend on my dark light mastery. I can successfully create dozens of solid spears and make a shield out of dark light, and all of them are quite durable. Since we have gotten our Lucy Fugs Riz and I haven't spared, so looks like he is trying to get to know Euclid and corrupt him with his stupid devil's evil kill other beings theory, and out of nowhere he sent me a spar challenge through Euclid, who gave it to Graphia. Looks like he still is a siskin, though a pity Graphia sees him as a brother, and most importantly I am here. Me thinking it as a good opportunity to test my strength and gauging my brother's strength, I accepted the challenge. After accepting the challenge and telling Graphia to inform him about it, I went to take a bath and relax myself. After taking a bath I wore my training clothes and sat down on the bed. While I was relaxing I got an idea, why not make Melissa and Vanessa sleep with me to increase their affection towards me. Wait, I should be thinking about the spar, not about how to get a girl. Seriously, the sin of lust is quite hard to control. I will need to increase my training more if I don't want to become a guy who thinks with their lower half. After seeing that the agreed time has arrived, I went towards the training arena of the castle, which is honestly too big to be called an arena, it is a damn colosseum. I entered it and saw Graphia and Euclid standing together on one side and Melissa and Vanessa standing on the opposite side of the arena. Riz was just there standing menacingly, or at least tried to look like a proper anime villain. Unfortunately for him I ignored him and simply went to the side opposite to him and stood there waiting for him to start. He looked a bit stupid standing there in the middle like a JoJo character, but he got over it and started speaking with a smirk on his face. Looks like these cheap provocations won't work on you anymore, Cain. But this is nothing, I will finally defeat you today. Those provocations never worked, Riz, and today is the day I win, not you. After all, you rarely train here, you study more in the library after all. After me saying that, we both went quiet and waited for each other to make a move. After all, the match had started the moment I had stepped in the arena. While I was concentrating on the flow of demonic energy, I heard Graphia and Euclid talking. This is one of the benefits of training your control, increased senses. Who do you think is gonna win, sister? I cannot say anything on this matter, Euclid, as I do not know Lord Rizevim or Lord Cain's strength. Then according to you, who is stronger? Judging by the aura, my lord is stronger than your Lord Cain. My god, I can hear the sarcasm in his voice. Suddenly I sensed a movement in the air and I saw the world upside down and Rizevim with a smile on his face. I realized that he had known about my control, so he ordered Euclid to talk to Graphia in order to distract me for a moment. He knew I would not ignore their talk due to me being curious. Such cunningness from him and foolishness from me, or so he thought, but he didn't know one thing. I knew about it already, so I was prepared for his attack from behind. As for me slipping due to him using magic, I have trained enough to land safely on my feet. I dodged the wind blade he had created on my back mid-air by putting my hand on a dark light spear I created in air and landed on my feet in a spectacular fashion, shocking everyone present. After all, I trained my physical body too. Seeing that his little plan had no effect on me, so decided for a more frontal approach to use magic. His inherent magic, i.e. sacred gear canceller, is useless against me, so he needs to find other ways to fight me. He created ropes made from pure demonic energy and tried to bind, but I countered with chains made up of dark light. Dark light, being superior to demonic energy, easily managed to destroy his ropes and went past them. I controlled them to bind him, but he teleported away from his place. I sensed the magical energy gathering in two places, one behind me and one in front of me, which was of no surprise. I knew Riz is better at teleportation magic than me. He does not train his physical strength actively, so he will not engage in close quarter combat. So the in front should be the decoy. So I quickly jumped sideways and using my imagination launched a fireball behind my previous position. And my deduction was correct. The demonic signature in front of me was a decoy because a small rock was there, while Riz almost got hit by my fireball but managed to dodge it at the last moment by rolling away. Looks like this spar will not end soon, as both of our magical strength is equal. I would not like to let him know my full strength. Thinking about his weakness being close quarter combat, I decide to get him near me so I can exploit his weakness. Seeing me not falling for his traps, Riz decides to use more variety of magic, as I can see 4 different types of magic circle forming the circles, then ray, also fireball, water spear, wind blade, and lightning snake, and he then launched it towards me. All of this happened in less than 5 seconds. Seriously, devil magic in DxD, though lacking in firepower, makes it up by removing calculations and having your imagination do the work. I had already formed my teleportation circle below me by the time his attacks reached me, and everyone being unable to see anything during the resultant smoke from Riz's attack, I teleport behind him. He managed to sense me, but it was too late as my demonic energy-coated fist landed squarely on his face. Getting hit by full power enhanced punch from me, Riz was thrown backwards and landed on his back and started skydiving, but was able to roll and get back on his feet whilst stopping me from following him by freezing the ground. And I see the blood drip from his mouth, and with that the first blood has been acquired. Chapter 11, Spar Between Brothers 2. Cain POV. Riz wiped off the blood from his face and the look on his face became serious, and suddenly I sensed a large amount of magical energy gathering around him. The amount was equivalent to a low high-class devil's total demonic energy reserves. How the F did you get into high class, Riz? I haven't reached high class just yet, Cain. It's just that the restricted section of the library has some interesting books on how to gain power quickly. Shit, this some restricted magic knowledge, and knowing that the restricted section of the library is only for Lucifer descendants, it may be something left by the Og Lucifer himself. I can't let him complete that spell. I also increased my demonic energy and started materializing dozens of spears made up of dark light. This is the most I can do without revealing my true strength. I also created the shield of dark light around me, reinforced it with devil magic, and launched the spears at Riz. He didn't try to dodge or stop the spell. I trusted in his devil physiology to carry him through this, and it did. As I had recently started training with dark light, I couldn't bring out its full potential. Riz managed to not get knocked out, but he was looking very bad with cuts all over his body, and he was bleeding a lot, but he didn't show any pain on his face. Instead, it was a smirk. Nice try, Cain, but looks like it wasn't enough to knock me out. Now feel the wrath of the magic created by the Lucifer himself, prideful son. And I looked up to see a massive ball of flames descending on top of me. The magic was so strong that it raised the temp of surroundings by a few degrees. If I couldn't cancel it out with an equally powerful attack, then I will lose. That attack cannot be evaded with my speed as its range is too big. I gave up on hiding my strength and used high-class strength and created spears of dark light, but this time they were more than a dozen. I made them more larger, each having a length of 3 m, and they were more durable than before, and launched them at the descending sun. The resulting explosion made both me and Riz shield ourselves, but even after that we were thrown backwards. The place just below the explosion was turned into glass, showing how much heat was generated in that collision. Looks like it will still end in a draw, Cain, just like all the other times. No, Riz, this time I win. Look at your limp arm. Prompted by me, Riz looked at his arm to see a chain of dark light binding it. He looked towards me and wanted to say something, but he couldn't and fell unconscious. The dark light corroded his strength and stamina, and him being injured just made it faster, and just like that in one. But now everyone knows that I am in high class. I only won due to me training dark light and him getting his hand injured, so it made it easier for me put dark light chains on his hand, or else he would have sensed it, but I managed to win, and that all that matters. Rizevim POV. I am in a black space, it's totally dark around me. How did I get here? Oh, I lost to Cain in the spar and got knocked out, so currently I am in my subconsciousness. So Cain is stronger than me. In the end he is more talented, he is better than me, he has the clan trait, not me. I am a fake Lucifer. No, I am also a Lucifer. I also have my own pride. I will become better, know the best. If I can't become stronger than Cain in physical strength, if I will learn magic, if I lose in magic, I will learn runes, if I still lose I will be cunning, make plans, schemes, traps, use other people, manipulate them. In the end I will have the last laugh, not him. He was hiding his own strength to show me pity. Does he think I don't notice him matching his aura to mine to look equally strong? No, Cain, I know it. You like to think you are superior, you are the heir, but no, I am also a Lucifer. What if I don't have dark light? I still have the devil's blood in me. Yes, I don't need to play fair. I can do bad and evil things to make him suffer. Just like that scum Aaron said, devils are evil beings. They don't need to show any virtue. We don't need to act good and help. We don't need a reason to evil acts. Why? Because devils are evil, that's a fact. When I first heard this from Aaron's mouth, I thought he was babbling some BS. After all, he died to a 2-year-old kid. What can something he said make sense? Also, it was the first time I knew that Cain was stronger. It is a bitter memory seeing him act like a god, killing Aaron and acting like a good guy. He is just a hypocrite. When I first went into the restricted section of the library and read Father's books, I was surprised. He also thought that devils were superior, being that we are stronger, have longer lifespans, and have good magic. It was then that I finally understood Aaron's intent. Devils are superior, so it doesn't matter if we do good or bad. It is up to me to decide that. After that, the more books I read about devil superiority, the more fascinated I became, and after learning some dark magic from the restricted section, I challenged Cain, thinking I would win easily, revealing his true nature, but I was a fool. He was one step ahead of me. He had already reached high class. I must have looked like a fool in his eyes. I also made stupid mistake putting all of my strength on a single card and letting pride affect me during the battle, leading to me losing. But this will be the last time I do something stupid as letting my sin get the better of me. A devil does not play in the light. He lives in the shadows, pulling the strings and increasing his strength and only revealing himself at the end to win. I will plan, Cain. Let's see how you manage to get away from me next time, because it won't be a simple spar, it will be a play between you and death. With that, I opened my eyes to find Euclid standing near the end of the bed looking worried. Looks like I need to increase my reputation in his eyes more to make him a perfect tool for my plans. Just you wait, Cain. In the end I will be the one to stand at the top, not you. Cain POV. After Euclid took Riz to get him healed and rested, I was still standing there thinking about Riz's improvement. He went from not being able to get me serious to forcing me to use my full strength. How did he improve so much? What did he do in the last 2 YRS? Does the restricted section have ways to increase strength permanently too? I have a lot of questions and no answers as of now. Looks like I still am lacking. I was thinking about some random stuff, not knowing that Rizevim was planning my demise at this very moment in his subconsciousness. After that, out of the corner of my eyes saw Grafia, Melissa, and Vanessa still standing in the arena. Seeing them, I am reminded that I also need to make sure that they are sufficiently strong too. Let's start their training from today. I can't believe I forgot to increase my followers' strength in pursuit of my own. I can't protect everyone on my own. They also need to be strong enough to ward off trouble, or at least be able to survive until I arrive. I called them near me, started asking them about their fighting ability. How strong are you 3? I am at peak middle class, my lord. I have been trained by father from the age of 6 YRS to be strong enough to serve you, my lord. So Grafia is training for 6 YRS and is at peak mid class, while I only started actual training since 8 years, and Riz started at the same time as me, so my strength rised 1.5 times faster than Grafia and Riz, and I can assume that the new Satans were around peak mid class to low high class. So keeping that in mind, it is confirmed that my potential is even greater than Surtsk's. After that I looked towards Melissa and she started speaking. I am at mid class, lord. I have received no training since birth. Hearing that, I frowned. Aren't you from the Barbados clan? Didn't you learn at least basic devil magic and your clan trait? No, my lord, I was trained to be a maid from the start, as my parents were only branch family members. I didn't ask Vanessa, as Melissa told me about her past. She was abandoned at a young after her clan discovered that she cannot awaken the clan trait. Looks like I need to train Melissa and Vanessa from the scratch, but I also need to train myself. Looks like Grafia's training will have to wait a little, as she will need to train both of them out the basics. The power of the Barbados clan be of great use if trained to high level. With that I again start my training routine, and this time I have 3 beautiful girls accompanying me to train. Also I managed to get Melissa and Vanessa agree on sleeping with as a prize for winning the spar. At least winning that spar got me something. Chapter 12, Planning a Walk in the Vatican. Third-person POV. In the castle of the Lucifer, a maid with black hair and stoic face can be seen walking eagerly towards the place her lord is generally at this time. If one looks carefully they can see the maid is in a state of panic under the stoic mask. She walks briskly and reaches in front of a door and knocks it. A charming voice of a boy answers, "Come in." Getting the permission, the maid walks inside the room and looks at her lord, and like a vampire dying from sunlight, all her worries die instantly seeing her lord fine. "What happened, Vanessa? Why are you sweating? Did something happen?" The maid, Vanessa, didn't answer for a while, then spoke. "My lord, the servants who were responsible for checking the perimeters of the castle found 3 bodies of devils killed and thrown in the forest behind the castle." "Oh, they did? Well, there is nothing to be scared of. Maybe some fools ventured into the forest and got lost and then got killed by one of the beasts in the forest. But my lord, you also sometimes go into that forest for hunting the demonic beasts. If the beasts can kill 3 adult devils, then it can harm you too." "Calm down, Vanessa. I am much stronger than any average adult devil, and there is no demonic beast stronger than me in the forest. The devils who got killed must be some weaklings. You don't need to worry about me. On the other hand, you should sometimes go out with Grafia in the forest and get some combat experience by hunting the demonic beasts." Hearing the logical answer from Cain, Vanessa calmed down and was about to leave until her eyes landed on a shiny dagger. Image here. She asked, "Where did you that dagger, my lord?" "Found it in the basement of the castle. It was lying there on some table. Thought I could use a weapon." "My lord, didn't I and Melissa warn you not to enter the basement?" "Indeed you both did, but just because you warned doesn't mean I have follow your warning, do I?" Hearing that, Melissa was taken aback, as her lord generally listened to her, and Melissa, this was one of the few times she had seen him using his authority of a lord. Looks like her lord is growing fast. After that, Vanessa left the study and Cain went to reviewing the documents of the clan Lucifer and the business it had in the human world, and he had one thing to say: the money that the clan gained through the human world was ridiculous, and he had to manage all of that because he was the heir. All of this was previously managed by the house of Lucifer, but now that there are heirs to the house of Lucifer, Gerhard just appeared on my 13th birthday and dumped all this paper in my study and called it a birthday gift. After some time, Cain put the paper back and simply sat there looking out of the window. The underworld had no system of day and night. The sky was eternally purple. The only way to keep track of the time was to look at a watch. Looking outside, Cain started talking to himself. Cain POV. It's been 13 years since my birth. I have grown in multiple ways, physically, emotionally, and mentally. This world has changed me a lot. This is a world of be killed or be a killer, and I chose to be the latter. I have thought multiple times about the plot, but I have watched only the anime and read some fanfics about DxD, so my knowledge is limited, and the current year being centuries behind of the canon, the plot doesn't matter much, to be honest. The 3 devils in the forest were killed by Maine yesterday. I was hunting since beasts and they tried to ambush me but failed miserably, and me, who has decided to be a killer not be killed, sent the 3 foolish devils to their death. And after killing that I felt nothing. Looks like my mind has changed after becoming a devil. Normal human morals don't apply to me. I still wasn't able to figure out the one bang the attack, but they will reveal themselves sooner or later as I foil all their attempts on my life. I also went into the restricted area of the library of the castle and found many books, but the books were weird. It was like they resonated with my bloodline and whispered in my ears about devils and killing all other supernatural beings, but I kept my head straight and went deeper and found a secret entrance in the library. It connected with the basement, and just as I entered the basement the weird feeling disappeared. Looks like the restricted books in the library had some sinister dark magic imbued in them, forcing anyone with devil blood to become more and more evil. It probably only gives away, not alters their personality, like Riz. Even after spending years in there daily, only has his ideology changed and he didn't become a complete maniac. Anyways, the basement is huge, and even after exploring it for hours without stopping I found no end to it. I found this dagger inside and it looked cool, so I bought it out with me. Melissa and Vanessa told me that there are some dangerous items in the basement which can kill even ultimate class beings, but I doubt it, and even if there is such a thing, it will be in the deeper part, not the top part. Nothing much has changed much in the past year, but other than sleeping with 2 beautiful women daily, I also managed to make Grafia drop her cold facade around me, but only when we both are alone. It happened after I talked to her like a friend, not like a lord she was supposed to serve, and after a few training sessions and telling her that I also like maids, we hit it off. She literally had stars in her eyes when she was talking about maids, and with that I managed to get past the Ice Queen's emotionless mask and make her act normal around me, but she still has that mask when other are present. Other than that, I finally managed to reach low ultimate class in combat power, while my energy reserves have reached high ultimate class due to me emptying them almost daily. And Riz had asked me if I had free time. Looks like he need to talk to me about something. I can feel it in my balls that it is something bad for me, so I need to make sure that this time I repay I kind. I called Grafia using a magic circle. She appeared by teleporting inside my study. "Greetings, Lord Lucifer. You called for me." "Ah, yes Grafia, I had job for you. I need you to go talk to Euclid and tell him that you are not satisfied with me being your lord. Show him that you do not like me." "Pardon me, Cain, but why would I do that? I am quite happy with you as my liege." She stared, talking to me as Cain, not lord, but she is still too green when it comes to underhanded plots. Just go and do it. You will come to know what will happen at a later date when the time is right. Fine, just explain to me your schemes at a later date. She went after that, and I was thinking of how will Riz react to this. Will he take the bait or not? If he accepts the bait and tells her about his plan even superficially, it will be enough to make enough counterplays. I need to give him a warning that you can't expect me to stay silent if you attack. Well, I hope this time it will be enough for him. He is still my blood-related brother in this world. I had no other family members in my previous life, so I will prefer I have not to kill him, but after this he still doesn't understand. I will unfortunately end his life. Third person POV. After that everything went well and Riz took the bait. Grafia's acting is really well. And the plan he made was ridiculous. He wants to go inside the Vatican in the main church and search for documents about the Great Holy War. Is he out of his mind? If we get caught accidentally we will die and restart the war again. But if we succeed I can get a proper proof that God is dead, and if I am lucky I can get some notes on how to deal with divinity, as all other powers have a way to be dealt with, but divinity is very troublesome. Let's hope that Big G had a way of that. With that, me and Riz planned about the trip, which was bordering on the line of reinstigating the war. Maybe he wants it, but in the end me, Riz, Grafia and Euclid are going. Well, let's see what you have planned for me, my dear brother. Chapter 13, Secrets of the Vatican. Third person POV. In the medieval Rome everyone is going about their life without any care as to that the devil's spawn themselves have stepped foot into the holy city. In a dark alley a silver circle forms and 4 people walk out of it, each of them being a beautiful and handsome person in their own right. The 2 silver-haired men walked forward discussing something. Weren't we supposed to teleport directly into the Vatican? Why are we in an alley, not in the damn church? The angels have put a strong anti-teleporting magic over the entire Vatican, although I can trespass it. Doing so will alert the people sensitive to magic, which will result in a war. So you think that the devils will lose the war? Huh. It's not a matter of who will win or lose. The moment the war starts all the other pantheons will also jump in like hyenas. The sole woman of the group pulled out 4 cloaks and 4 masks of different kind and gave them to the other. Hey Cain, are you sure the priests will not be able to sense our demonic energy if we wear these cloaks? Be assured, Riz, these are made from the hide of the demonic shapeshifter chameleon. Its ability to hide its wearer's energy signature is top-notch. Fine. Anyways, let's go. Me and Euclid will go into the armory section and you and Grafia will go into the library section as planned. Yes, and remember Riz, if you get caught don't expect me to help. I will leave you and get myself out of here. After that Cain and Grafia separated from the other 2 and went on their own way. Grafia, I have a hunch that Riz will deliberately show himself to try and kill me. I need you to start working on the teleportation circle from the start after we enter the church so we can evacuate at a moment's notice. But what if the circle is not completed and he shows himself? Then both me and Riz will have to fight till either you or Euclid forms a teleportation circle, and yes, before you say something, I can't use devil magic or my clan trait as it will start a war. So we are rogue magicians from the organization Grauzauberer. The leader is Mephisto, so it will not be weird if we use a little bit of devil magic. I understand, my lord. After that Cain went near Grafia and lifted her up in a princess carry. And this caused her face to become red like tomato. Cain, what are you doing? Calm down FIA and get your brain out of the gutter. I am doing this so I can travel fast and staying hidden. Also use your shadow magic to further suppress our presence. Hearing that she got back into her maid work, did as told. While it was true that this way we will be faster, I wanted to see her break her stoic mask, and it was really cute seeing her all flustered and embarrassed, and the magic effect of the face getting red was also present. After that I increased my speed to a level where no normal human or even weak supernatural being can't perceive me and started to move towards the largest holy energy source I can sense. After I reached near the wall of the church, I entered the church and went on top of a tree, hid myself, and started sensing how strong the people inside are. And I was disappointed, as the strongest person, who I think was the Pope, was only at mid-ultimate class, which only a little stronger than me. In a fight I might win because of my abilities and physiology, but I can't use both of them freely, so he may pose a threat to me. All other are at varying level. I only sensed 4 other humans at high class level, which is good. All of this was happening when Rizevim was making his way towards the armory. Cain went sneaking towards the library and entered from a window without being seen and knocked out the fodder who was guarding it with a single attack on his neck and put a sleeping spell on him using human magic. After that he put Grafia down and ordered her to start forming the teleportation circle in the corner where reaching was hard and the books were dusty, signifying that not many people came here regularly. Cain POV. After leaving Grafia in the corner section of the library, I went to search the library, but I didn't find any useful book archive or record. Looks like there is nothing in this library. Just as I was about to go back, I saw a peculiar book, the Bible. There were many different versions of Bible in many languages, but this one has an ancient aura and looked really old. I went towards it, picked it out, but instead of coming out, the entire shelf started rotating, leading to a dark tunnel. I used the connection I had with Grafia as a Lucifuge and Lucifer to ask her to come here at once. After she came, we both went inside and the shelf came back to its original position. Grafia, using magic, created a light ball to light up the passage, and what we saw shocked us. The passage was long and kept on going. And the end it led to a large dome-shaped library. From the looks of it we are underground. Seeing that the passage was very dusty and unused, I figured out that this was not known to anyone in the current generation and ordered Grafia to make a permanent 2-way teleportation circle here. It will be a surprise tool that may be of use in the future. After she started her work, I went to look at the library and I was surprised each book here was old and had a depiction of gods and their doings. It was almost as if some fanatic who liked gods made this place. All this place was filled with information upon gods. I have hit the jackpot with this. With this, the second most annoying guys in the world can be countered the gods. All that is left is some dragon slaying stuff and I am set. I started reading books I found interesting and useful at once. I made sure to make a magic clock to keep a check of the time. After some time, 3 HRS to be precise, Graphia came and informed me of the completion of the teleportation circle. My lord, the teleportation circle is complete and can be used. Only those allowed by me, or you can use it and it quite hard to trace back as well. Splendid work as always, Graphia. Now that we are prepared, help we take the books to the circle. Yes, my lord. But all my delusions were broke as we learned that the books, or to be more precise, this entire library has complex magic and runes arranged so that no book can be taken out of it. And by the looks of it, even I will be unable to override it. Maybe it was created by a very strong angel. But thanks to that, the teleportation circle will see a lot of use, as do the weird magic. I will need to come here every now and then to read all these books. After that I went outside making small talk with Graphia about the library and the book. Chapter 14, Showdown in the Vatican, third-person POV. All the while the people around the world are praying to their God, while in the holy city a massacre by the devil is taking place. Kill all of them, FIA. Leave none alive. Yes, my lord. Two voices rang out one after the another, and before the opposing side could understand who their opponents are, the slaughter started. The maid used her ice magic to create ice lances and impale the knights of the Vatican, while the man simply went around tossing different kind of magic without any care for his magic reserves. While it may look like that Cain was using his energy reserves quite sparingly, as he may have to fight the Pope later on. After all the priests inside the library were dead except one, Cain caught him and started to peek inside his mind using his devil magic to find out how did they know that he was in the library. Memory magic of the devils is hard to find, so it was fine. Even if Riz got caught deliberately, they would search the church, not be ready, like they knew he will be in the library. What he saw shocked him. My brother is also in, thus fly the church of yours. He is stronger than all of you and will kill all of you if you dare attack me. Then where is that strong brother of yours? He is in the library. When he will come back, he will bury you all alive. Say your prayers while you have the time. Seriously, this is it. I am leaving him here to die. Fuck the contract. It states I can't attack him. It doesn't stipulate that I have to save him from a problem he created. Just after Cain had finished searching through this pitiful guy's memory, he felt a large amount of holy power coming towards him. Seeing that fighting the Pope is inevitable, he prepared himself mentally and ordered Graphia, FIA, go out and kill every single priest you can find that you are able to kill. Don't worry about anything, just don't give away your identity. After I manage to get away or kill the Pope, I will come get you, and first we will teleport inside the secret library and then from there back to the castle. Understood, my lord. Please take care, I will be waiting for the news of your victory. After that she jumped out from the window and made wings of ice on her back and started killing all the priests below her. Looks like you have been waiting for quite a time, Mr. Pope. So why don't we have a little spar while our subordinates have a little impromptu war? A elderly voice sounded after Cain said the words. Looks like some fools who don't understand the greatness of our God have entered the holy place. I will eradicate you vermin myself. Do try, old coot. With that both of them started the fight. As both of them started the fight, they were wary of each, neither of them knew each other's powers. Cain took the initiative to test the waters with launching several flame spears at the Pope. But just as about the spears were about to reach the Pope, shadows engulfed his attack and redirected his attack back at him. Shocked by the sudden appearance of a sacred gear, Cain created a shield using earth magic. The shield broke, but it protected it from the flaming spears. What happened, unholy bastard? Cat got your tongue. Shut your mouth, you holy fanatic. A mere night reflection will not hinder me in the least. Although I said that being in an enclosed space with him having night reflection sacred gear, his strength will increase with more shadows. I need to take this fight to a more open space. With that, Cain created a familiar spell that was once used by Riz on him. Prideful son. With those words, Cain launched a small sun, but the target wasn't the Pope but the library itself. The attack was far stronger than what Riz used on him. On the outside, Rizevim was fighting 4 high-class humans, one with a light gun, one with a lightsaber and one with his fists, while the fourth one was shooting bows at him using his sacred gear Starling Green. Suddenly the fist guy got twice as strong as he was before and attacked Rizevim with even more ferocity. Rizevim created a platform of darkness and stepped on it and jumped away, and simultaneously created lightning snakes and made them attack the twice critical user. While this was going on, Graphia was simply flying and raining spears made up of ice and darkness. There were dozens of dead priests lying around on the ground, dead with the spears piecing them, making a gruesome scene in the church. Suddenly a part of the church blew up without any warning, raising up a lot of smoke, and 2 persons came out of it. One was standing on the air while the other one was standing in the ground. Not caring about the fight going outside, the 2 kept on releasing attack after attack, ignoring the collateral damage they caused. The attack launched by the invader were all captured by the Pope shadow and reflected back, while Cain had no problem dodging or destroying his own attacks. Seeing that killing or defeating the Pope will require him getting serious, he mentally spoke to Graphia. Graphia, prepare to teleport to the hidden library. We will be returning, as I hadn't thought that the Pope might have a sacred gear. No reply came from Graphia, almost as she was not hearing him. Cain spoke louder this time. FIA, what are you doing? Prepare the circle. This time she responded, but not with the answer he was expecting. My lord Euclid is not here. Did he? No, he didn't. I can still sense him. He is busy creating a teleport circle. Cain interrupted her. But if we go now he may die. Cain, while dodging launching attacks in the battle with the Pope, was faced with a dilemma. Either he orders Graphia to teleport and loses her trust, or stay and fight to make sure Euclid doesn't die, but making sure Euclid doesn't die will also lead to Rizevim surviving, which he didn't want. Cain sighed and spoke to Graphia. Kill as many as you can. I will kill the Pope, but after that we go back, no questions after that? Graphia responded a little late but in an affirmative tone. After this conversation, Cain ramped up his attacking frequency and started to go to a deserted place to make sure he can finish him off. Lesser the evidence, better the case. Almost as if Graphia has been possessed by a killing goddess, she started killing every priest around her with absurd frenzy. After Cain managed to get the Pope to a place where not many priests were present, he used another magic from the restricted section to kill all the other humans here. Potion downfall, said Cain, and a huge amount of black poisoned water began to materialize in the middle, spreading, and whoever got in contact got poisoned and was paralyzed, and with the ridiculous amount, if it got inside anyone they died almost instantly. Cain thought mentally, the restricted section has too many dark magic books. All of this happened while Cain was still fighting the Pope. The Pope, understanding that he can't kill the unholy bastard, as he liked to call Cain, decided to use his holy magic along with his sacred gear. This increased his strength to a level 2 times greater than before. The battle raged on with Cain continuously using magic of all kinds, human and a little bit of devil, with the old coot using holy magic to counter the devil magic and heal himself while using his sacred gear to counter the human magic. Knowing that he can heal himself with his holy magic, and this guy probably informed the angels about the attack, Cain decided he need to end the battle soon. Thinking about that, Cain made up a plan to make sure that his devil energy signature doesn't remain anywhere. To do that he will need to use his clan trait and destroy the Pope's body so there is no evidence left. With that, the battle going in the Vatican was about to become even more fierce, with Graphia going on a killing spree, Riz fighting 4 strong bishops and Cain fighting the Pope, all the while Euclid was busy making a teleport circle and with the angels coming soon. And the moment when I opened the shelf at the end of the secret passage, I was greeted by a lightsaber to my face. I dodged it and burned the ambusher to ashes. And after getting a clear view of the library, I knew in a heartbeat that Rizevim has started his plan. FIA, kill all of them, leave none alive. Yes, my lord. With that time to make Riz experience a loss. Chapter 14, Showdown in the Vatican, Third-person POV. All the while the people around the world are praying to their god, while in the holy city a massacre by the devil is taking place. Kill all of them, FIA. Leave none alive. Yes, my lord. 2 voices rang out one after the another, and before the opposing side could understand who their opponents are, the slaughter started. The maid used her ice magic to create ice lances and impale the knights of the Vatican, while the man simply went around tossing different kind of magic without any care for his magic reserves. While it may look like that Cain was using his energy reserves quite sparingly, as he may have to fight the Pope later on. After all the priests inside the library were dead except one, Cain caught him and started to peek inside his mind using his devil magic to find out how did they know that he was in the library. Memory magic of the devils is hard to find, so it was fine. Even if Riz got caught deliberately, they would search the church, not be ready like they knew he will be in the library. What he saw shocked him. My brother is also in, thus fly the church of yours. He is stronger than all of you and will kill all of you if you dare attack me. Then where is that strong brother of yours? He is in the library. When he will come back he will bury you all alive. Say your prayers while you have the time. Seriously, this is it. I am leaving him here to die. Fuck the contract. It states I can't attack him. It doesn't stipulate that I have to save him from a problem he created. Just after Cain had finished searching through this pitiful guy's memory, he felt a large amount of holy power coming towards him. Seeing that fighting the Pope is inevitable, he prepared himself mentally and ordered Graphia. FIA, go out and kill every single priest you can find that you are able to kill. Don't worry about anything, just don't give away your identity. After I manage to get away or kill the Pope, I will come get you, and first we will teleport inside the secret library and then from there back to the castle. Understood, my lord. Please take care, I will be waiting for the news of your victory. After that she jumped out from the window and made wings of ice on her back and started killing all the priests below her. Looks like you have been waiting for quite a time, Mr. Pope. So why don't we have a little spar while our subordinates have a little impromptu war? A elderly voice sounded after Cain said the words. Looks like some fools who don't understand the greatness of our God have entered the holy place. I will eradicate you vermin myself. Do try, old coot. With that both of them started the fight. As both of them started the fight, they were wary of each, neither of them knew each other's powers. Cain took the initiative to test the waters with launching several flame spears at the Pope. But just as about the spears were about to reach the Pope, shadows engulfed his attack and redirected his attack back at him. Shocked by the sudden appearance of a sacred gear, Cain created a shield using earth magic. The shield broke, but it protected it from the flaming spears. What happened, unholy bastard? Cat got your tongue. Shut your mouth, you holy fanatic. A mere night reflection will not hinder me in the least. Although I said that being in an enclosed space with him having night reflection sacred gear, his strength will increase with more shadows. I need to take this fight to a more open space. With that, Cain created a familiar spell that was once used by Riz on him. Prideful sun. With those words, Cain launched a small sun, but the target wasn't the Pope but the library itself. The attack was far stronger than what Riz used on him. On the outside Rizevim was fighting 4 high-class humans, one with a light gun, one with a lightsaber and one with his fists, while the 4th one was shooting bows at him using his sacred gear Starling Green. Suddenly the fist guy got twice as strong as he was before and attacked Rizevim with even more ferocity. Rizevim created a platform of darkness and stepped on it and jumped away and simultaneously created lightning snakes and made them attack the twice critical user. While this was going on, Grafia was simply flying and raining spears made up of ice and darkness. There were dozens of dead priests lying around on the ground dead with the spears piecing them, making a gruesome scene in the church. Suddenly a part of the church blew up without any warning, raising up a lot of smoke, and 2 persons came out of it. One was standing on the air while the other one was standing in the ground. Not caring about the fight going outside, the 2 kept on releasing attack after attack, ignoring the collateral damage they caused. The attack launched by the invader were all captured by the Pope's shadow and reflected back, while Cain had no problem dodging or destroying his own attacks. Seeing that killing or defeating the Pope will require him getting serious, he mentally spoke to Grafia. Grafia, prepare to teleport to the hidden library. We will be returning, as I hadn't thought that the Pope might have a sacred gear. No reply came from Grafia, almost as she was not hearing him. Cain spoke louder this time. Fia, what are you doing? Prepare the circle. This time she responded, but not with the answer he was expecting. My Lord Euclid is not here. Did he? No, he didn't. I can still sense him. He is busy creating a teleport circle. Cain interrupted her. But if we go now, he may die. Cain, while dodging launching attacks in the battle with the Pope, was faced with a dilemma. Either he orders Grafia to teleport and loses her trust, or stay and fight to make sure Euclid doesn't die, but making sure Euclid doesn't die will also lead to Rizevim surviving, which he didn't want. Cain sighed and spoke to Grafia. Kill as many as you can. I will kill the Pope, but after that we go back. No questions after that? Grafia responded a little late but in an affirmative tone. After this conversation, Cain ramped up his attacking frequency and started to go to a deserted place to make sure he can finish him off. Lesser the evidence, better the case. Almost as if Grafia has been possessed by a killing goddess, she started killing every priest around her with absurd frenzy. After Cain managed to get the Pope to a place where not many priests were present, he used another magic from the restricted section to kill all the other humans here. Potion downfall, said Cain, and a huge amount of black poisoned water began to materialize in the middle, spreading, and whoever got in contact got poisoned and was paralyzed, and with the ridiculous amount, if it got inside anyone they died almost instantly. Cain thought mentally, the restricted section has too many dark magic books. All of this happened while Cain was still fighting the Pope. The Pope, understanding that he can't kill the unholy bastard, as he liked to call Cain, decided to use his holy magic along with his sacred gear. This increased his strength to a level 2 times greater than before. The battle raged on with Cain continuously using magic of all kinds, human and a little bit of devil, with the old coot using holy magic to counter the devil magic and heal himself while using his sacred gear to counter the human magic. Knowing that he can heal himself with his holy magic, and this guy probably informed the angels about the attack, Cain decided he need to end the battle soon. Thinking about that, Cain made up a plan to make sure that his devil energy signature doesn't remain anywhere. To do that, he will need to use his clan trait and destroy the Pope's body so there is no evidence left. With that, the battle going in the Vatican was about to become even more fierce, with Grafia going on a killing spree, Riz fighting 4 strong bishops and Cain fighting the Pope, all the while Euclid was busy making a teleport circle, and with the angels coming soon. Chapter 15, Showdown in the Vatican, 2. Third-person POV. With Cain deciding to kill the Pope, the battle was becoming more and more intense by the moment. With the Pope having sacred gear, the fight was prolonged for a much longer time than it should have, and Cain being unable to use his devil magic and clan trait freely made it harder to end the battle fast. Just wait, you motherfu *cur. I have informed the angels about the attack on the Vatican. They will soon be here, and then you will understand the folly of your actions. For a Pope, your vocabulary sure is quite vulgar. And I am not afraid of these pigeons you call angels. My other friends are also nearby waiting for the chance. You underestimate the minds of rogue magicians from strong organizations. So what, all of your friends will die by the hands of the holy angels? With that, I have managed to make sure that he doesn't suspect me of a devil just yet, although it is inevitable that if have to kill him I will have to use my clan trait. I have a plan, but for that I need to create the stage. With that, Cain started going on the defensive while coming down to the ground and having a fist fight with the Pope. Surprisingly, the hand-to-hand combat skill of the Pope was not as good as Cain, as even when Cain was only defending he was still pushing him back. Figuring out that he will lose if he fought in close combat, the Pope jumped back, but Cain refused to give him some space. He followed him with even greater speed and made a direct punch to his face. The Pope crossed his arm to defend, but it was a feint. Cain changed his attack at the last moment and made it an uppercut. The attack launched the Pope up into the air, and seeing that the Pope can't dodge mid-air, Cain figured out it will be a chance for him to make him unable to use his holy magic. Cain, while fighting with the Pope in CQC, was creating a magic circle on the ground. It was magic circle written in one of the books in the restricted library section. It made anyone inside the periphery unable to use any magic-related thing. With this, the Pope can only use his sacred gear. While the Pope was in mid-air, Cain activated the magic circle and made the entire area devoid of magic, but he had modified the magic a little. Devil magic is still usable in the circles along with its natural weaknesses, i.e. sacred gear and clan traits. With that, the Pope can't heal himself, so let's do this. After that, Cain started to attack with devil magic without care. As there is an anti-magic field deployed, it will be hard to find any traces of any kind of magic. The Pope was having a hard time believing that someone can cast magic at this rate. This time Cain managed to burn the left hand of the Pope. The Pope tried to heal his hand but was astonished to find that he can't use his holy magic. Now that he understood that can't use his holy magic to heal himself, he got scared. After all, most people are afraid of death. But almost as he had enlightenment, he screamed, "You heretic, you are no rogue magician, you are a devil. Curse you. Finally figured it out, Mr. Pope. You have won the Best Detective Award of the year." Now that Cain had his identity revealed, he started using devil magic only without any care. The situation for the Pope became worse from bad. Seeing that he can't win, the Pope wanted to run away, but Cain created a circle of fire around the place, effectively locking the Pope in a fixed place. With that, the Pope started using his sacred gear Night Reflection, although it wasn't able to counter physical attack. With that, Cain started to create different kinds of weapons like axes, swords, spears, using dark light and launching them at the Pope. A certain gold-haired king will be proud of me. Now that Cain was using his clan trait along with devil magic, the Pope was getting cornered as the fight had been getting more intense. The Pope didn't have the advantages of devil physiology, neither he can use his holy magic to heal and recover himself. Combinations of such things made him lose his concentration for a moment, but Cain didn't miss it and went for the kill. Cain created another magic barrage in the Pope and launched it while simultaneously teleporting behind the Pope. The Pope was busy reflecting that magic, so he didn't notice, and the anti-magic area had dulled his senses. Cain got behind him, impaled him with his spear, made up of dark light. Cain had aimed at his heart, yet instincts honed through his lifetime, he dodged at the last moment, leading to his stomach getting pierced instead of his heart. The Pope fell to his knees and said a few words before breathing his last glory to God. With that, the Pope, the head of the religion on earth, died. But Cain didn't give any thought to it and immediately burnt the body to ashes and using wind magic scattered them. After that, he contacted Graphia. "Graphia, the Pope is dead, I am coming now, we are going, no questions." Without waiting for her reply, he teleported near her by sensing her demonic signature. Graphia was surprised by his sudden arrival, but he didn't care about it and lifted her up in a princess's carry. "My lord dash." He didn't let her complete and said in an authoritative voice, "We are going back now, no questions asked." And created a big explosion using human magic, and under the smoke created, he teleported near the teleportation circle created by Graphia, and entered in it, activated the circle using his magic and teleported away. Back on the church, the dust settled and the priests saw that the invaders have vanished, and just after that 2 magic circles appeared on the sky and 2 angels appeared. Both of them had 10 wings on their backs, signifying them as ultimate class angels. Just a bit before Euclid had completed his one-time teleportation circle and came near Rizevim, who was breathing heavily, but all the 4 persons were lying dead. Riz, sensing the large amount of holy aura, showed a smile and said, "Looks like my brother played me this time too, Euclid. Going back now will be a problem, but I will survive." And with that being said, Riz turned towards the angels with Euclid standing behind him. "You shall be executed for this crime, heretic." The melodious voice of the angel rang and the fight began. Back to Cain, he teleported safely inside the castle in his room and put down Graphia. He saw that she was about to say something, but he stopped her and said, "Go and tell the maids about our arrival and rest, I will call you after getting rested." Graphia simply nodded and went to do what she was supposed to. Cain went and laid down on his bed and quickly fell asleep. "I will think about the consequences later on." Sometime later, the maids found that Lord Rizevim has returned back, but the way he looked made them think what happened to Lord Rizevim. Rizevim was in a bad condition. He had lost a lot of blood, one of his arms was cut off, his entire hair was dyed in red by his blood. He looked like he could die if anyone just lightly punched him. Although Euclid was also in a bad condition, he was still in a better condition than Rizevim. He was also carrying the cut-off arm of Rizevim. It can be reattached using a lot of phoenix tears. With that, it looks like Rizevim had to pay a large price in order to escape the Vatican. Both of them went in their rooms without saying anything, leaving the maids bewildered. At night in the study of Cain, he was sitting in his chair and was in deep thought. A knock sounded on the door and replied, "Come in." Graphia entered the room with her eyes downcast and stood in front of Cain. It was time to have a serious talk between master and maid. Chapter 16, Punishment and Situation in Heaven. Third-person POV. In the room of the Lucifer, one can see a silver-haired maid standing in front of a young man sitting on the chair with a stern look on his face. "So, Graphia, care to tell me why did you ask me to save Euclid's life knowing that it can cause problems in the plan?" No reply came back from Graphia. She just kept standing there silently accepting her mistake. Cain continued, "I had to reveal my identity as a devil in order to kill the Pope just because you wanted Euclid alive. It had already been decided that I won't be helping Rizevim and Euclid if they got caught, yet I had to do to your request. Now don't stand like a deaf person and answer." This time the tone of Cain's voice was higher than usual. Graphia still stood like a statue and didn't answer. Seeing that she wasn't going to answer to his questions, Cain decided that further questioning is useless. After that, Cain opened a drawer in his desk and took out a bracelet. It was a jet black bracelet with ancient runes written on it in molten silver. The bracelet gave of an eerie feeling. "This one of the toys I found in the basement during one of my little expeditions. This bracelet will be your punishment, Graphia." Cain continued, "I know that Euclid is your brother, but for a Lucifuge the first thing should be his/her Lucifer. But you still have some problem in understanding that." Cain continued, "This bracelet cuts off the wearer's senses one by one every week and then returns it one by one following every week. You will do your daily maid work while wearing this bracelet for the next 3 months to understand that I, your Lucifer and master, come above your brother who has way too much interest in you beside the interest I should have. hearing that there was a slight change in Graphia's expression but it returned back to her stoic look quickly. With that being said, Cain stood up, walked near Graphia who was still standing silently like a doll. He put the bracelet on her left wrist and said, "Seeing that you are not talking, I will take your silence as accepting your punishment." As along with the taste of sense, the bracelet also takes away the wearer's ability to talk. Whoever's crafted this was super sadist. Because this was your first mistake and I don't want to seriously punish you, I hope you understand and make this your last mistake, Graphia. It hurts me to do this to you. After putting the bracelet, Graphia lost her ability to taste and speak. In the next week her ability to see will be sealed and so on. In the 6th week the magic sense will be sealed and from then one by one every week the senses will start to come back. In the 6th floor of heaven's evil, an angel with the appearance of a handsome-looking man with long blonde hair reaching till his neck and green eyes could be seen walking. He has 12 wings growing from his back, and unlike other angels whose wings are white, his wings are colored gold, further symbolizing his position as the current leader of the angels. This angel was Michael. He had just heard from the other angels that there has been an attack on the Vatican in which the Pope died. He was told that Archangel Uriel handled the situation, but Michael was not informed. He was on his way to ask why was he not informed about such a big event from Uriel. Reaching near Uriel, Michael asked, "Why wasn't I informed about the attack on the Vatican, brother?" Uriel turned towards Mikhail and replied, "It wasn't a big deal, brother. The ones who attacked were some rogue magicians from Graubazar. It wasn't a small deal either, brother. The Pope died. Even if the situation was not needing immediate attention, you should have informed me. Come on, brother. The Pope was a corrupt guy. If anything, we should thank the rogue magicians for getting rid of him for us." Uriel, Michael said with his voice raising a little, "Don't say that. All life is equal and nobody has the right to decide who is wrong and right. Tell me, even when you knew about the attack, why did you not go there personally or informed another seraph about it? If you or any other seraph went, maybe the Pope will still be alive. Brother, I sent 2 ultimate class angels. That is already more than enough. Looks like you don't understand, Uriel. Don't let a thing like this repeat itself or else I will have to punish you." "Yeah, sure, brother." The reply was half-hearted and it was not serious, as Uriel knew that Michael is a softie for his brothers and sisters. He will never punish any of them seriously. All they would ever get is a light slap at the wrist. Unknowingly, Uriel's hate for the corrupt Pope lead to him not informing any other seraph and delaying the ultimate class angels going to Vatican, which lead to Rizevim surviving. Ironically, an archangel saved a devil due to his own radical views. If Uriel knew about the attackers being devils or worse heirs of clan Lucifer, he would have personally went there. In the future, after knowing about what he did Uriel and what it entails, he will get quite angry, which will lead to him engaging in a fight with Cain. Back to Vatican, the personnel were busy rebuilding the church and counting their losses. On a rough estimate, about 83 priests were dead with 4 sacred gear holders and the Pope himself. There may be still some bodies underneath the rubble, or there may not be a body left at all, so about a 100-man loss just because of 4 rogue magicians. The Vatican has done a great job at hiding this, as nobody except the involved parties know about it yet. The Pope will be announced dead after the rebuilding is completed along with all the stuff. He died by a disease is what they will be telling the world. Although those having connections to the supernatural will sooner or later find out the truth. 8 months later. In the Lucifer castle, the relationship between the 2 heirs has gone from bad to worse. After healing from the injuries suffered due the ultimate class angels, Rizevim has cut all contact from Cain. Even Euclid wasn't allowed to talk to Graphia. On the other hand, Cain, although miffed by the fact that he wasn't able to kill Riz, was still in a good mood, as after her punishment Graphia has become even more loyal and subservient to him. Looks like losing all of your senses can be pretty terrifying, and with him being the only one who helped her in that period with some more hot and cold treatment, he managed to make her fall in love with him. Looks like the Stockholm Syndrome can affect even devils. Cain's relationship with the Melissa and Vanessa has also improved accordingly, as now Vanessa also sometimes responds back to his teasings in her own cold manner. With all this going, Cain left the thing about his brother being evil back and put that on hold, as only when he gets another chance he will be able to kill Riz. With that, everything went back to normal and Cain again dove into training himself and his mates. In a darkly lit room, 4 devils can be seen sitting across a circular table. 3 of them have grave expressions on their faces while the other has a smile. These 4 are Percival Paimon, Xenophilus Zagan, Hannah Haganetti, and Valak. All 4 are very old devils, especially Valak. He is a first-gen devil. Lord Paimon starts speaking. "What were you thinking, Valak, going to the Lucifer heirs party like that and openly provoking them? Unlike you cowards, I have the guts to stand in front of them even after planning for their deaths." Seeing that these 2 were going to fight, Hannah said, "Now calm down, both of you. What happened is in the past. We should live in the present and plan for the future. Fighting over something that happened will not change it." Both of them calmed down, but still Paimon was looking a bit angry seeing that Zagan spoke. "Anyways, what do we do now? The plan to kill them failed when they were still small, and we had to lay down due to the Lucifuge investigating stuff. Now that the matter is finally calmed down, what do we do next?" Hearing that Valak spoke, that fearless smile still on his face. "Increase your connections with the other devil pillars and become close to them enough to change of affect their decisions. When we reach that stage, I will tell you the next phase. You 3 get close to some devil pillars, I will get close to one of the Satans and try to influence them. But all the devil lords are quite old. It will take time to build that level of trust." Hannah's sweet voice rang after Valak finished speaking. "Indeed, this a long-term plan. It may even take a long time, decades even. But if it succeeds, we may become the next rulers of the underworld." hearing that all of them become excited after all devils lust after authority and strength the most. So after that the four of them went to their own ways to plan for the things they will have to do. With this meeting the circumstances that will lead to the devil civil war have been initiated, which will cause a lot of mayhem in the underworld in the future. Chapter 17, Time Skip and First Time, R18*. Third person POV. Today is March 7th in the world of DxD. On this day year 1508 the man named Cain livian Lucifer was born. And from then 18 years have passed and finally Cain has become an adult. Today he was going to celebrate his birthday along with his three maids Graphia, Melissa, and Vanessa, but Gerhard called Graphia and Euclid a day ago saying he was going to check on their progress and see if their skills are up to par or not. This left him only being able to celebrate his birthday with only Melissa and Vanessa. Although not the ideal situation, but he will make do with it. Today was supposed to be a easygoing day with him relaxing in the daytime according to the clock, as the sky is eternally purple. Cain was bored seeing purple sky all the time in the underworld. He decided that when he hold the reins of the underworld he will change the sky into having a system of proper day and night. Nighttime was supposed to be the fun time with Melissa and Vanessa making a cake, and after that he will finally get to drink some devil wine and play some games. Currently Melissa and Vanessa were preparing the cake and he is patiently waiting for them to come so that he can start the game. The game which he had thought to play is Truth and Dare. After all, a little bit of alcohol and Truth and Dare go a long way. While Cain was laying on his bed the gate opened and the two maids which he had grown accustomed to entered the room with a chocolate cake and bottles of finely aged devil wine in their hands. After putting the cake and wine both of them turned towards him waiting for him to cut the cake. Seeing that he took the knife and started cutting the cake. Clap clap asterisk. Both Melissa and Vanessa started clapping and said together in a sing-song voice, "Happy birthday to you my lord." After that he fed the cake to both of them and motioned them to sit down on the bed. He brought out an empty bottle and opened the wine bottles and started pouring himself a drink. "So what plans do you have my lord? You asked us to order the other servants to do all the work for us the rest of the day. We are going to play an interesting game. Although it's a pity that Graphia is not here, let's not be upset and continue. What is the interesting game you speak of my lord?" After Vanessa asked that question Cain explained to them about the game and its rule, and after that he spun the bottle and it stopped on him. Seeing that he chose truth and the first question of the game asked was, "How strong are you my lord?" The one who asked the question was Melissa. As per the rules he had to say the truth. He can lie but that will spoil the fun, he replied. "Low Satan class." And without waiting for their responses started spinning the bottle and the game went on. Some time later, the three are still playing the game although Vanessa is almost sleeping due to her having low alcohol resistance. The bottle had stopped at Melissa and she had chosen Dare. A lot of weird and awkward secrets and situations had occurred till now, but Vanessa in her intoxicated state gave the Dare to Melissa. Bath with the Lord in the bathtub. And dozed off, making the situation reach the highest level of awkwardness till now. Seeing that Melissa was not saying anything, Cain offered, "If you don't want to we can stop the game, it is not necessary to do the Dare." But Melissa mumbled, "I will do it." And stood up. Cain was not able to hear so he asked again, "What did you say?" Melissa replied, walking towards the bathroom, "I will do the Dare my lord." Seeing that she was willing to do it, Cain followed her to the bathroom not thinking much due to the alcohol. After getting inside the changing room he saw Melissa's maid clothes outside and the sound of water filling the bathtub. Hearing that gave a wild rush to his imagination, making his blood flow towards his lower region. He also quickly got out of his clothes and went inside the bathroom, and what greeted him was a beautiful scene. With Melissa sitting in the bathtub full of water, having patches of foam covering some parts and leaving some to increase the allure, and she had a blush spreading on her cheeks. All of this almost made him jump on her at this very moment, but he controlled and went inside the bathtub and sat opposite to her. But just as he sat, something else came out of the water rising, and this time it was the shield. It was his spear, which was standing on full mast, which is equal 8½ inches to due to the excess blood in it. The situation got even more weird due to it. And at that time Melissa, the ever-curious maid, asked something which unleashed the lust sin of Cain. "Can I touch it? It looks like it will hurt, so maybe I can help." Hearing that, Cain left all his limitations and said, like a sage while nodding his head, "Cain POV. Please do." Just as those words left my mouth, Melissa started coming towards me on all her fours. It made it all the more alluring. After coming near me she took my penis in her hands and started stroking it slowly like it was a glass rod. The sensation was vastly different from what I remember doing with my own hand. Her hands were like silk clothes, so soft. She was gradually increasing the pace at which she was pumping it. With that I decided to be more bold and told her, "Use your mouth, it is more effective." And due to her curiosity she brought her mouth near my cock and have it a lick. After that she said, "It tastes weird, but I like the taste." After that she tucked her hair behind her ear, went to give me a blowjob, and for a first time she was doing a good job. With me having no experience in this body, I was about to reach my limit. I put my hand on her head and started to guide her to take it even deeper in her throat, and she was taking it like a champ. "I am coming, Melissa." With that announcement and a few grunts I also started to thrust and launched my baby batter deep into her throat. With me having an orgasm and being in like warm water, I had the feeling that I have ascended to heaven even though I am a devil. After that she took out her tongue and showed me that she swallowed it whole, making my Excalibur rise up once again. But by that time my devil physiology had detoxified the alcohol in my system, making me gain my sense of reason back. I didn't want to do something without her consent, so I asked, "Are you fine with moving forward?" She replied in a very seductive voice, yes my lord. With that being said, I have into my primal instincts and my sin. I made her sit on top of the bathtub and brought my mouth near her pussy. It was a beautiful pink color and completely clean with no pubic hair. Without wasting time, I started licking it with vigor. It feels good. Her voice was music to my ears. I continued licking and tongue fucking her pussy and sometimes gently biting her clitoris. My hands squeezed her supple thighs. She realized a low cry. I smirked knowing that it pleased her. My hands reached upwards to her ample breasts, kneading them, eliciting another long moan from her. Seeing that she was enjoying this, I increased the intensity of my tongue and played with her nipples and breasts. I could feel every muscle of her chest. I could even feel them relax and tense accordingly to my tongue movement. And having such stimulation, Melissa finally orgasmed, releasing her love fluid on my mouth, which I drank with fervor. Ah, I am coming, I heard Melissa scream with primal instinct. It was sweet like milk chocolate. I then let her slip down on my lap and cleaned both of our mouths with magic and smashed my lips on top of her. It started with lip on lip to full-blown French kiss with tongues involved, her small tongue unable to stop mine. My cock was lying between her thighs and touching her stomach, coated in my precum and her love juices. I then decided that there was enough foreplay and lifted her up, and while kissing her dropped her on my cock, penetrating up to her cervix in a single go, making air move out of her lungs. I let her adjust to the pain for a few moments before starting to move in a rhythmic pattern, and gradually her moans also started to increase in volume. And it feels so good. It feels like I am in paradise. Oh, my lord's cock is destroying my pussy. Melissa words kept on getting more and more vulgar as I kept pumping my cock in and out of her wet snatch without stopping. Only after going for more than half an hour continuously I felt close to coming. And with a grunt and a few words, I am coming inside you, Melissa, I erupted deep within her pussy, coating her insides white. This led to her third orgasm of today, and she was a blubbering mess by now. I stood up with my cock still inside her and lifted her up and cleaned both of us with magic, started going back towards my room. She had fallen asleep before that. Midway I heard Melissa speak in her sleep. My lord's semen is inside me, and a few incoherent words, making me smile. I then went inside the room only to find a slightly less drunk Vanessa sitting on the bed, only in her underwear, looking towards me, at the place where me and Melissa were connected, to be more precise, with fire in her eyes. But suddenly tears appeared in her eyes and she said, you did it with Melissa and not with me, as I thought my lord doesn't like me at all. Seeing the almost naked Vanessa throwing tantrum while drunk made my dragon again rise inside Melissa, making her rails a soft moan in her sleep. I went to the other side of the bed, put Melissa down and covered her up, and went near Vanessa. I lifted her up and made her sit on my lap with her back facing me and hugged her from the behind and whispered in her ears, let's see if I like you or not, my dear maid. And after that I put one of hands on her boobs and started fondling them, and my other hand went down to tease her lower lips. I can see her biting her lips to stifle the moan but failing to do so, resulting in an extremely low but sexy voice to leak out, further raising my cock and pushing harder between her ass cheeks. I put my hand inside her panties and started to tease her clitoris with my thumb and pumping 2 fingers in her vagina, all the while my other hand was using her breasts as stress balls. Vanessa started shivering, indicating her trying to stop her orgasm. I decide to give the final push by going near her ear and biting it gently, along with pinching her nipple and clitoris at the same. Faced with a triple attack, Vanessa came and squirted all over my hands and drenching her underwear. Oh, looks like you are a squirter, aren't you? What a naughty little maid. After that I threw her on the bed and started removing her bra and panties. After that what awaited me was the word cute embodied as a girl. I pointed my cock at her entrance and looked into her eyes. She simply nodded her head, giving me the confirmation. I penetrated her in one go and she made an expression of pain and some blood came out. I kissed her to alleviate the pain, and after some time she said, you can move. Hearing that I stated moving my hips back and forth and hitting the end of her cervix every thrust, making her moan, which led to me thrusting faster. It was like an infinite loop. After some time I turned her around with her back facing me and making her on all her fours with the bubble butt facing me. It jiggled every time my hips made contact with her. She had already came once. Suddenly I raised my hand and slapped that smooth ass and felt her pussy tighten. To make sure I wasn't wrong I slapped her ass again, and it happened again. Vanessa is a masochist. That realization hit me like a truck and I let go all of my reservations. And as they say, the quiet ones are always the most vulgar. And the saying was true that even after getting spanked her voice only got higher and higher. And this feels so good. Master's cock is punishing my womb. Hearing her speak like that made my lust sin flare up even more. Take it like the masochist you are, you dirty little maid. And I started getting rougher with her, with me being rough, and her vulgar words made me come closer to my reals. Feeling that I started going even faster, making Vanessa unable to speak properly. Mashed her cock so good. It fells me up. And with that I also painted her womb the same color as the clouds in the human world. Take it all, you naughty bitch. After it took my cock out, the semen started coming out a little and Vanessa fell on her face with her ass still up in the air, making a glorious pose, and fell asleep. I was admiring the scene I created when a pair of hands coiled around my neck and a seductive voice said into my ear, I hope my lord still has some energy left for this curious little maid. Looks like Melissa is up and rearing to go for more. Well, who am I to refuse? He again started fucking Melissa in the doggy style, with Vanessa lying with her ass up in the air at the other side. Hearing the loud moans of Melissa, Vanessa woke up and came near me with a cute pout on her lips. I captured those peachy lips and used one of my hands to squeeze her ass while simultaneously using my other hand on Melissa's hip to thrust inside. This is heaven. And with that I kept on going, alternating between the two maids till both of them were completely exhausted. Both of them combined came close to 20 times, showing to me that devil physiology is better than that of humans. I cleaned the sheets, which were a mix of my cum and both their pussy juices with magic, and laid between them. Third person POV. A few hours later. On the bed of the Lucifer heir, the heir can be seen laying along with his two maids cuddling asleep with a content smile on his face with a single thought in his mind. I fuke * King finally lost my damn V card. Chapter 18, Young Devil Gathering. Cain POV. People say that if you want to do something with all your determination then the world itself will help you, but looks like in the underworld the opposite is true. Here I am sitting in my study going through the business files when I saw a letter addressed to me with the stamp of the Beelzebub clan on it. Seeing that it was from one of the 4 Satans, I put my work aside and opened the letter, and the content was quite short and only to the point. Lord Lucifer, it pleases me to give you the invitation to the young devil gathering of this generation. It is gathering for every devil house's young generation to meet and build relations with the other houses. Although the 4 Satans do not need such things, it is important that the other devil pillars get acquainted. So with great awaiting I hope that you will be present along with your Lucifuge. The place of gathering is attached with the letter along with the time and date. Shalba Beelzebub. Getting this letter was surprise, as I had not really made any public appearances till date except that party at my 3rd birthday, and that too was only attended by some of the devil pillars. So if I accept this invite I will finally have to make an appearance to the devil world officially. Although I haven't made any official appearance, my existence still made many rumors go off in the public. Like how would I be, how strong am I, how smart am I, and other things. I was basically a celebrity to the common devils, as I am a Lucifer descendant. I was about to go into a deep monologue about whether to accept the invite or not, but my third and last major sin, pride, made me accept the invite. After all, why should I worry about the others? I will do as I please. And I started to write a letter to the Beelzebub that I accept the invitation. I will have Graphia send it later. After I had lost my V card to Melissa and taken her and Vanessa's V card, both have become more beautiful. Although after learning about that, Graphia got angry and pouted, which was cute. I had to pacify her by saying that I will not leave her alone and said some cringy lines, but it worked. And after that she understood and went back to her duties. I am planning on making her first time a special one. Anyways, I need to prepare for the gathering, as the gathering will be my first appearance in the underworld and first impressions are important. I told Melissa to make all the preparations about the dress I will be wearing in the gathering. Another thing to notice was the whether Rizevim was invited or not. Most probably he was. Although this whole gathering thing is to show the superiority of the Satan houses on the devil pillars, it will be stupid to not invite the heirs of the Lucifer clan. Looks like after so many years I will be again seeing my wretched brother. So what should I do? He will probably try to do something against me as always. Should I just straight up kill him? No, way too much trouble. Until I get a genuine enough reason to kill a Lucifer heir, it will be problematic to handle the consequences, and the contract is still there. I need to be at least super devil class to be able to break the contract on my own. That is one of the few motivations to get stronger. So much to think about and make decisions for all the situations. Third person POV. All the young lords of the Underworld Devil Society are getting ready for the Young Devil Gathering with renewed vigor. After all, it is an event that happens only once for a generation. It was a perfect moment to make connections, show their strength, and above all find a fiancé for themselves to strengthen their future alliance. And this time the Satan descendants, even the Lucifer heirs, will present one will be able to get extremely high in the society if they can get a chance with the heirs. Many young ladies are already dreaming of the Lucifer heirs due to the rumors of them being the most handsome devil to exist till date. Many young lords were thinking about the 3 devil princess of the generation: Cateria Leviathan, Seraphal Citrai, and Ziara Gremory. The 3 of them have fame to be strong, beautiful, along with having a big background. On the day of the gathering in the big hall of the Lucifuge clan, the gathering was going on. The various lords attending the gathering were talking to each other with great interest. The meeting place was a grand hall in the territory of the Lucifuge. The Lucifuge are responsible for the gathering arrangements and keeping the law here. All while the lords were enjoying themselves, 4 persons entered the hall, each of them exuding a fair amount of power. They were the future Satans of the underworld, although now it is hard to say due to Cain being here. They were Ajuka Astaroth, a bewitchingly beautiful and attractive young man, with light blue eyes and green hair that is slicked back. He has a mysterious aura around him which makes him seem devilish. Falbium Glaciolabalas, a tall man over 6 feet tall, a bald head and a goatee on his chin, wearing a military-like dress of white color. Seraphal Citrai, a beautiful girl, looking in her late teens with black hair, tied into twin tails and blue eyes. The phrase short but busty fits her. She has a cheerful and bubbly personality. Ziara Gremory, a beautiful girl with crimson hair falling freely up to her waist with azure blue eyes and a relaxing but strong aura around her. She was wearing a imperial-styled party gown of blue theme with a single slit running up to her thighs and some light jewelry to top it. Image. All 4 of them entering together showed that they already are close with each other. It is known in the underworld that some of the houses are against the Satans and their houses are a part of them. All 4 of them stood at one side of the hall and didn't talk to anyone except a few other. While everyone were enjoying themselves, the familiar of House Lucifuge started speaking loudly. The grandsons of Beelzebub, the sons of Bidliad Bashalin Beelzebub, Shilba, and Melon Beelzebub have arrived. With that, the 2 young Beelzebub arrived in the gathering. They were radiating arrogance and walked like they owned the place with their aura unrestrained, making the weaker devils shiver with fear. Shilba had the appearance of a handsome man dressed in black armor with a cape. He had long brown hair that goes to his hips with many bangs covering his right eye, while Melon had brown hair covering one of his eyes, average looks, and a thin smile on his face all the time. He was wearing a three-piece suit of green and red combination. His aura was very unsettling, giving off an eerie feeling. Just as they entered, the familiar once again started speaking loudly. The granddaughter of the Leviathan, the daughter of Tsufami Teriako Leviathan, Kateria Leviathan has arrived. With that, a bespectacled woman with brown hair in buns, purple eyes, and tanned skin appeared. She had an aura befitting the title of a Leviathan. It was reeking of envy. Just as last time, the familiar again spoke. The grandson of the Asmodeus, the son of Damaeidus Osiriacal Asmodeus, Cruzari Asmodeus has arrived. And true to his name, he was simply looking at all the females present at the hall with unrestrained lust, not giving them any respect. When his eyes reached Sierra, he was about to speak when the familiar spoke again, louder than the last 3 times. The sons of the Lucifer, Cain Livian Lucifer and Rizevim Livian Lucifer have arrived. Everyone went silent after the announcement, and the entire hall was filled with the sound of shoes hitting the ground. Unlike the others, the Lucifers did not come from the gate, but rather they came down from the stairs. Cain from the right and Riz from the left. Both had their Lucifugs behind them. Both of the brothers had different auras, while Rizevim had the aura of arrogance and seeing everyone as a being below him. Cain had the aura of an emperor, making anyone consciously see him as the leader in any situation. Only those with sufficient strength were able to tear their eyes away from them, but still most of them were shocked with them. Cain had silver hair with a single bang falling to the side of his face, piercing red eyes, and wearing a black and white 3-piece suit. He simply looked devilishly handsome. With that, both of them came down and the other Satan's heirs greeted them, to which both of them responded with a simple nod. This marked the beginning of the young devil gathering, as all of the invited devils are here. After the crowd got back to their sides and the various lords started greeting the Satan heirs. But the 4 of the anti-Satan guys didn't. This was a pretty bold move, as it can be seen as the spark of rebellion, but the heirs are too arrogant to notice it. Only Cain, Rizevim, and Melon were able to figure this. To them, they are probably ants, they think. Prior to this gathering, all the devil lords had sent gifts to the Satan heirs on the birthdays, which was ignored by Cain as he was too busy sleeping with his maids and keeping the business in the human world running. Suddenly there was a burst in the demonic energy and in the hall, and a young devil was thrown, destroying a part of the wall. Crash. Oryx air. The voice of Shilba Beelzebub rang out with a snarl. The quality of your gifts were worse this year compared to previous year. May I know why? All while Melon was standing away from his brother like he was a plague. Although Cain was able to see the smirk he had. And the shit show starts, thought Cain. Can't this just be a normal devil gathering? Cain was regretting accepting the invite now, but he can't back out now, unfortunately. Chapter 19, Young Devil Gathering, 2. Third-person POV. Oh boy, Shilba sure is vengeful. He is shaming the Oryx heir in front of the whole devil world basically, as they are future heirs. The future social life of the poor guy is over. Cain thought while drinking the wine. The Oryx heir finally had enough of this and finally decided to talk back, but that was a bad move. Even if Shilba isn't the most hard-working guy, his strength is far higher than Olive Oryx. Beelzebub heir, this year due to a famine my family was not able to produce enough amount of resources, that's why the gift was of low quality. Shilba didn't like him talking back, so he punched him in the face while taunting. What the hell am I supposed to do if you don't have enough money? The Oryx heir was bleeding from his cheek. That last punch made a cut on his face, and faced with the psychological and physical pressure, he was about to do something dangerous like openly attacking Shilba. A certain redhead came between Shilba and Olive and protected Olive by shielding him with her own demonic energy. Everyone in the hall was shocked by her brazen action. This was a direct affront to the house of Beelzebub. After all, someone stopped him. Shilba is very arrogant, he won't let it end like this. Shilba's face became twisted like he went mad, and he spoke like an animal in frenzy. What are you doing, Gremory? Don't get in my way. This can be seen as an affront to me, the heir of the house of Beelzebub. Hearing Shilba speak like that, Sierra remained calm and said, Please calm down, Lord Beelzebub. Heir Oryx has given a sufficient reason for his lacking gift. You don't need to kill him for that. I think he has been punished enough. But Shilba didn't care about. He attacked both of the heirs, opposing him with magic. Now everyone was getting wary. After all, this can be said to be a very big event. But the Satan heirs were looking like they were watching an interesting drama with interest. All the attacks of Shilba were cancelled by the Gremory heiresses by her skillful use of the power of destruction of Baal inherited by her mother. All Shilba was doing was wasting his energy, as none of his attacks were causing any trouble to Sierra. But Shilba was getting more and more annoyed that he was not able to defeat the 2 worms, and he was about to use his clan trait, the King of Flies, when a maid with silver hair came and stood between Shilba and Sierra. Now this became a 3-way clash. Shilba, still in his arrogance, spoke, Move Lucifer, or I will not hold back against you. Grafia ignored his threat and replied calmly like she was telling a child, Lord Cain is being disturbed by the ruckus that is being caused. So please settle this conflict after gathering. Shilba was livid hearing that. He was thinking, a mere maid dares to speak to me like that, and what does the Lucifer brat think he is, to tell me to stop because he is annoyed? I am going to teach his maid a lesson. Shilba did not give heed to Grafia's warning. Went on to activate his clan trait, but suddenly an enormous pressure descended on the hall. The weaker devils simply fell to their knees. The stronger ones were trembling and sweating profusely. The barrier made by Ziera was destroyed by this pressure and the Oryx air fainted. Shilba was standing there like a statue. He slowly turned his head to find the source of this gigantic aura and his eyes met with Cain. That day Shilba felt primal fear so much that even he was shivering, his eyes went bloodshot. There was only one thought going on his mind. How? He is the same age as me, then why I am feeling the same fear I felt towards my father, why? Then Cain spoke, bring him back to reality. Shilba, quiet down, this a place for elegance and etiquette, not for barbarians to show strength in an uncouth manner. And were you trying to attack my Lucifer? Shilba spoke with stutter and no, I was not trying to. He was shivering and was pale like a vampire at this point. Looks like this is enough. If I do more he may piss himself, thought Cain, and retracted his aura and simply called Graphia back. He was thinking about going back, but he felt a hand on his shoulder and a presence near him. Cain turned and found a face he definitely didn't want to see. It was Rizevim, having a joyous smile on his face, acting like a loving brother. Shit, I need holy water. I need to cleanse my eyes. Do this abomination, screamed Cain internally while appearing like statue outside. Meanwhile Shilba went back to his brother to talk about something and Graphia came back to Cain. Just as she was back at her position, Rizevim clapped and attracted everyone's attention. Young lords and young ladies, may I have your attention please? After seeing the conflict between the heirs of Oryx clan and Beelzebub clan, I have decided to make an event in the party which will help resolve any ongoing conflicts between the lords and help foster a healthy competition. Cain, not believing that his brother will help in creating a healthy competition, asked, what event do you speak of? Riz, just speak straight, no need to sound like a commentator. Rizevim, surprisingly unperturbed by Cain's remark, said the event is quite simple actually. First we will create a list based on strength for all the heirs and heiresses present, then we will give everyone 3 chances to challenge anyone to a spar. The winner exchanges the rank with the loser if the winner is lower ranked. If the winner is the higher rank, then there is no change in rank. And how exactly does this promote a healthy competition? Questioned Cain. Quite simple, by the end of this everyone will know their place, so they will be in line and not provoke anyone they know is stronger than them, hence preventing feudal conflicts between the pillars. Even Cain was a bit surprised that Riz said it loud that this was simply to show the pillars their place, not some everyday spar. This will decide the hierarchy of the generation until some major changes happen in between. The other lords were silent, mulling about it in their minds. The stakes are quite high, but the benefits are also good. If they rank high they will get recognition, and in the underworld might makes right. The lords said in unison that they agree to the event. In between, Ajuka Astaroth spoke, how is the list going to be made? I don't think anyone knows the strength of everyone present here. To that Cain replied, Graphia can do that, her sensing abilities are top notch. Rizevim also said Euclid can help her in that. With that, a big event was underway in the underworld with big stakes. The list was made in about half an hour while the lords were talking to each other and making teams so as to reduce the threat of losing their rank. The heirs of the Gremory clan, Citri clan, Astaroth clan, and Glacialobalas clan were standing together, showing that they are in a cooperative alliance. The list that both Lucifugs complied was as follows: 1 Cain, 2 Rizevim, 3 Shilba and Melon, 4 Kateria, 5 Cruisery, 6 Graphia, 7 Euclid, 8 Ziera, 9 Ajuka, 10 Sirafal, 37 Olive Oryx, 38 Rex Zapar, 39 Tierra Botis, 40 Ariana Renov. Out of the 50 surviving devil pillars from the Great Holy War, only 40 had their heirs at the age of 18 to 20. And as the list was presented to everyone, it was also projected on the air by the Lucifuge familiar. Everyone was shocked to see the top 10. The Satan heirs and the Lucifugs were understandable, but the other 3 were quite surprising. Seeing that the list was made, Rizevim started the event by saying, so the arena has been prepared by the Lucifuge clan inside the hall with barriers. The Lucifugs will the judge of the battles. Also, don't try to kill the others, some lethality is allowed, but there should be no deaths here. He added the last part with a joking voice, but he was still a Lucifer, so many lords nodded their heads. With that, the event began. Many lords were challenging each other, but no one tried to challenge the top 10. Looks like they are afraid of the strength shown by me and the other Satan guys. Well, better if no one challenges me. Cain was busy wondering about something else. In the midst of this, Shilba was about to challenge someone when Ziera said, I challenge the heir of clan Beelzebub, Shilba. Oof, this girl has a pretty personality, protecting someone at the cost of gaining enmity with one of the Satans. Shilba was going to challenge the Oryx guy. Even if he kills him as a Satan, nobody can do anything, but now things will get interesting, thought Cain. The hall was shocked, as this was the second time Ziera had openly opposed Shilba, but the Lucifugs simply started the spar when both of them were at position. Euclid was the judge. Another interesting thing that Ajuka challenged Melon to a battle and Graphia was the judge for that. If anyone had doubts, now that has been clear that the 4 rookies are opposing the Satans in an open way without fear. Well, a civil war was supposed to happen in the underworld before canon. These are just the trailers, the movie will start later in the future. Cain still was relaxed, as he doubted anyone will challenge him after he scared Shilba using his glare and aura alone. Oh, how wrong was he? In Ziera's match, Shilba went on the offensive from the start. He was taking out his anger on Ziera. Even when Shilba was going all out without using his clan trait, she was doing fine, just standing and creating a layer of destruction around her, destroying all the attacks of the Beelzebub heir. Everyone was surprised by the dexterous control of Ziera over the famed pod of the Baal clan. On top of that, she was not even sweating while continuously using her power to defend. On the other hand, Shilba was getting more and more frustrated over the situation. and from now on pod will be used for power of destruction. Finally getting enough of the stalemate, Shilba raged and unleashed his clan trait King of Flies. Let's see you acting calm now, Gremory. This is the power of a Satan, tremble before me. Ha ha ha. With his word, large amount of fire materialized in the arena and circled around Shilba. With a flick of hand they went towards Sierra and started shooting aura bullets at her continuously from all the sides. Sierra was surrounded by her pod and kept on defending herself. Everyone had thought she was going to lose after the clan trait of the Beelzebub clan was activated. Cain all of a sudden started focusing on this fight. That is some serious amount of power she is gathering inside that little dome of hers. Just as Cain finished his fourth glass of wine, the dome of pod broke like glass, and an enormous amount of demonic energy rised, tinged with the intent of destroying everything in its way. The aura continued to destroy the stage along with the flies, and finally when it reached Shilba the arena blew up. By this time even Rizevim was watching the spar with great attention. After the dust settled, Shilba could be seen lying on the ground with his armor destroyed and bleeding profusely, while Sierra was standing like she hadn't fought at all. She said, "For a descendant of the Satan you are quite weak," and started walking away while Shilba was too shocked to retort. Grafia announced the winner is Eris Gremory. With that 1 point went to the anti-Satan group. Let's go back a little in time when the spar between Melon and Ajuka began, of which Euclid was the judge. The match was quite simple, both of them starting with basic magic then taking it a notch up. It resulted in a clash of the two clan traits, the King of Flies of the Beelzebub clan and Seal Formula of the Astaroth clan. Unlike his brother Shilba, who lost his cool and was defeated in a pathetic manner, Melon maintained his calm throughout the spar and even after losing didn't create a scene. He even gave a handshake to the Astaroth heir after the result was announced. With that, the score between the unofficial matches of the Satan and anti-Satan group was 0-2 in the favor of the anti-Satan group. The event was going smoothly when two voices rang out at once. I challenge Grafia Lucifuge to the battle. I Magdaran Bale challenge Cain Lucifer to the battle. I really don't want to have a fight right now. Cain was thinking of going back into time and killing himself for accepting the invite. Now I will have to fight Zekram's son and possibly either Seraphal or Falbium if the trend is to be followed. Just great. Chapter 20, Young Devil Gathering 3. Third-person POV. Cain was having a headache due the challenge to him by Magdaran Bale. He thought because since he showed his power, he was not going to be challenged, allowing him to enjoy the gathering like a civil devil, although that is not a thing. Why the F***ck does that fool want to fight me anyways? It should be clear that I am far above his league. He at best was somewhere around mid-high class. And Grafia is challenged by Sierra, just great. Anyways, Cain moves towards the arena with elegance while having thoughts of ending the fight in a single attack. In the arena, Magdaran was standing with a smile on his face, not the arrogant one but the one battle maniacs have. Seeing that Cain was having another headache. He's a battle maniac. That clears as to why he challenged me. Showing off my strength just backfired. Euclid was the judge of this match and some other Lucifuge servant was the judge for the match between Grafia and Sierra. Cain simply stood at his place with no emotion on his face, intent on quickly ending the match and enjoy the various dishes and wine of the gathering. As the match was started by Euclid, neither Cain nor Magdaran moved. They were staring at each other. Magdaran broke the starting contest by speaking. The power you showed before was truly awe-inspiring. Having such strength at only 18, I can understand why my father, Zekram, is so admiring of the Lucifers. Cain didn't reply to that, he simply stared at Magdaran. I don't believe that the scheming Zekram will not teach his son about fighting. Is he planning something or is he just a battle maniac? While Cain was thinking that, Magdaran suddenly disappeared and reappeared in front of him with his fist coated in pod. Seeing that Cain didn't get flustered, he was relieved. Good, this makes sense that he is a scheming guy like his father. Well, that was a refreshing thing. Let's end this fight. With that thought, Cain shifted his body and avoided the punch from his opponent and kicked him in the gut with enough power to knock Magdaran out. The event happened in less than a second. Everyone saw Magdaran appearing in front of Cain with a blinding speed and getting thrown out of the arena at twice of the speed. The entire all was again shocked by the ridiculous strength of Cain. Cain simply walked out of the arena, and on the other side Magdaran was embedded deep in the wall with no sign of getting out as he was knocked out by that kick. The match between Sierra and Grafia was intense. While it looked intense to the outsiders, the combatants in question were not going all out. In fact, Sierra was even talking to Grafia in the middle of the fight. Cain looked at Sierra and then at Grafia. He did this a few times and shook his head. Grafia's going to lose. Well, the list according to power should have Sierra and Rizevim at the same rank, but due to politics they had to put them at a low rank. This was the hard truth, as the arrogant Satans won't accept being weaker than some other noble devils. Grafia POV. I was surprised that someone challenged me. On top of that, it was Eris Gremory. According to my sensing, she is much stronger than me. I think only Cain-sama can fight and defeat her in the gathering, although I think she is as strong as Rizevim-sama. I already knew I couldn't win this fight, but as the Lucifuge of Cain-sama I can't show a bad display. I must give it my all. The fight started and we both were only using basic devil magic. I was at a better position in that, but the tables turned when she started using her pod. In return, I used my clan trait, Power of Darkness, along with my ice magic, but all amounted to nothing. She had enough free time in the match to talk to me. She was simply asking me questions about my life and other girl stuff. Grafia, do you really think that the Satans believe in the development of the devil race as a whole? While I was thinking about something else, she asked me a question. I wanted to answer but I couldn't say so. I don't think any of the Satans think for the devil race, they only think for themselves, but Cain-sama is different, he cares even for common devils. He has made various laws in his territories for improvement of basic living state of common devils. He even started a school for basic knowledge. I replied, I don't know about the other, but Cain-sama surely does. She didn't seem content with my reply. She again said, then why didn't he intervene when Shilba was about to attack the Oryx heir? I tried to answer but I couldn't. I don't know what goes in his mind sometimes, but it must be a valid reason. Gremory, Cain-sama has far greater intellect than anyone. Nobody can predict his actions, and what is he planning? I replied, but I knew that wasn't true. Maybe one day I will be able to understand what goes in his mind after I become one with him. What am I thinking in the middle of the match? Get yourself together, Grafia. Third person POV. The small talk ended and Ziera again used that destroying the arena technique and defeated Grafia. Euclid announced the result with a bitter face. He couldn't believe that his great Oni-sama lost to a noble devil. But this time around Ziera didn't look as relaxed. She was out of breath. Surely fighting two strong devils consecutively will have some effect on her. Cain was enjoying a different wine this time around when a bubbly voice rang and made him almost drop the glass. I challenge Cain-kun. Let's fight, Cain-kun. I swear anyone challenges me after this I am murdering him. Poor Cain can't get a break. He was about to taste the 300-year-old devil wine, now he has to fight. Cain, although annoyed, still went to the arena and stood on the other side. Sirafal was standing looking upbeat. At least this fight will be interesting, unlike the last one. Cain was mentally consoling himself about his fight. Grafia was the judge of this match. She had downed a vial of Fenix tear just to be able to become the referee of this match. She signaled for the match to start. Cain was standing while Sirafal used her clan trait water manipulation to create tentacles and attacked Cain. Cain was unfazed by this. He simply stood there. The tentacles changed their trajectory at the last moment before touching him. It was like the water avoided him. Sirafal was making surprised Pikachu face. Her power never acted like this. Seeing that Cain spoke, you will have to do better if you want to actually fight me. Sirafal looked at him and spoke, this is just the beginning, Cain-kun. I can do a lot more. This time Sirafal used a large amount of her demonic energy and created a 7-headed hydra out of water. It stood at a towering 10 meters in height with its eyes glowing with dark Prussian color. Cain this time waved his hand and a dagger appeared in his hand. It was the same dagger he found in the basement. Fine, Satrai, I will actually fight you for a while. Saying that, Cain coated the dagger in demonic energy and swung it. The shockwave created thus destroyed 3 heads of the hydra. The other 4 survived because Sirafal was able to move them in time. Sirafal was shocked this time because he didn't realce the energy in the dagger, just swung it to realce a shockwave and almost destroyed her strongest non-lethal attack. Sira decided she can't hold back this time. Mao, both Ziyi-chan and Aju-chan have won their matches. I can't be the only one to lose. Come on, Sira. While having a monologue inside, Sirafal was having serious face outside. Cain seeing that was surprised. She is making the pout face only seen in anime. I didn't want to use my trump card here, but you forced me, Cain-kun. The gentle feeling of water disappeared and the feeling of desolate winter surrounded Cain. This is familiar, it's the ice magic which Grafia uses. Seraphal's bloodline had mutated, making her able to use ice magic too, like her clan trait. But the ice magic was lethal, something Sirafal only used when she was supposed to kill someone. Sirafal didn't like fighting and killing, but she is sure that Cain will be fine. She unleashed her strongest attack from the start, intending to make this the last blow. Icicle Rain. Sirafal screamed before attacking. Cain didn't even defend, he was face-palming due the cringe. Oh my Satan, she is screaming the attack names. At the last moment, Cain used his clan trait Dark Light and created the exact number of spears as Sirafal and countered them whilst he teleported. The collision evaporated the ice and created thick fog obscuring the vision of the onlookers. Sirafal was also looking for him when she felt a tap on her shoulder. She moved quickly but was met with a finger poke on her cheek. Cain had teleported behind her and hid his energy signature. He poked her on the cheek and said, dead. If this was a real match, that is. And started walking away. Grafia announced the winner like a dedicated maid. The winner is Cain-sama. Sirafal stood there for some time and went back, but she was blushing. That was dangerous. He is very handsome when close. Sirafal returned to her team. Falbium had challenged Kateria and won. Only Sirafal had drawn the long stick and lost to Cain. Ziera was tired, but she still challenged Rizevim to a battle. She is going to lose. If she was in peak condition it will be 50-50, but now that Riz is in top form and she is tired after fighting 2 strong devils, she is gonna lose. A pity. The match started just like Cain. Rizevim was also not very much interested in fighting. He was much more interested in the chaos caused by him. Ziera's challenge made him angry that he was deprived of the chance of seeing the chaos. As far as control and devil magic was concerned, Ziera was outmatched by Riz. In canon, Surtsk was supposed to be stronger than Riz, but due to me Riz trains a lot more than his canon self, so he is currently stronger than Ziera. Cain shook his head and took another glass of wine and watched the match with keen eyes. Rizevim was keeping his distance and utilizing the vast amount of magic he learned from the library in the castle. Ziera was forced to use her pod from the start to defend as her magic was not in the same level as Riz. Ziera multiple times between the exchange tried to reduce the distance between herself and Rizevim, but every time she went close he used instantaneous teleportation. Rizevim was not gonna take his chances. I simply need to maintain my distance and wear her down. She is already weak from the continuous fighting. I just need to be careful of her pod at close range, at long range my magic can nullify it. Rizevim's plan wasn't complicated or great but it was definitely working. Many people had seen through his plan but what can they do? Stopping teleportation will require to seal space which is only possible by the clan trait of Vasago. The situation of Ziera was grim. She was already near completely exhausting herself. She was berating herself for being overconfident and not taking proper rest in between battles. Seeing that she would lose if this went on, Ziera made up her mind and raised her power to maximum and released it in a spherical front. Rizevim was about to teleport but he sensed something and stopped. He created multiple barriers in a short span and steeled himself for the attack. Other than him only Cain and Ajuka were able to sense what happened. Ajuka ran towards the judge and asked, "Is Ziera safe?" With urgency laced in his voice the judge had a pale face as he replied, "I can't sense what's going inside the barrier." Ajuka clicked his tongue and went back with his sense completely fixed on the barrier. On the other hand, Cain was surprised, so because she can't seal space she destroyed it in the area of the arena, making teleportation impossible. What a crazy girl. Although Cain said so even he will have trouble destroying that much space as of now. He definitely can but it will be troublesome. The pod is just too good for destroying stuff. The red energy that was rampaging inside the barrier finally subsided and a shocking scene was seen. Rizevim was fine even after the massive attack. He was taking in deep breaths and his demonic energy was out of control and his thought were a mess. She did this much when she was tired. Everyone else drew a cold breath. The arena was a mess. Multiple black patches and cracks in the air could be seen in a haphazard way, showing that the destroyed space was not completely rebuilt by the laws of the underworld. Ziera was lying on her knees. She was exhausted by the last attack and Rizevim was still standing. She lost. Rizevim, thinking about how an ordinary devil far below him made him become like this, raised his hand and created a large amount of wind magic. I can't kill her because of Duke Gremory, but disgracing her should be fine. He was planning something hideous and was about to bring his hand down. But the hand never came down because Cain was holding it with his own hand. Cain also dispelled the humongous amount of magic and stared with a cold glare at Rizevim. Rizevim, seeing that, had only one thought in his mind. How did he get here so fast, that too without me sensing anything?